You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Pop Culture Gamers. It's Sunday the 29th of April 2018 and my name's Haydn and I'm here with my partner in crime Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Feeling better actually now. Thank you.
Yeah, you've not been well for the last week and a bit, have you?
No, been a bit poorly, as they say.
Yeah, I've not been too good either because I've had conjunctivitis. So.
Yeah, you don't want to spread that with your fingers.
No, but my eye was particularly gross and red.
Yes, that picture didn't do you any justice.
No, it didn't. Anyway, do you want to start off and get the ball rolling, Steve, by letting us know what your week's been like?
Okay, so as you're aware now that I've had a cold and flu for the last week. And this led to it going to my chest. So overall, I've been a bit of a mess, and I've hardly had any sleep because the idea is that I've been coughing at night, so I've been sleeping in the room next door and just not getting any sleep at all. So I've been going to work still, although I did have one day off and a hospital day off as well in between.
Yeah, because you got another visit off about your leg or your knee, didn't you? Yeah.
They said they can operate, but I'm not sure if I want it. Because I can't afford to be off for 3 months.
That's a long time to be off.
It is. Some people might say that sounds great, but no, not when you pay the bills.
No, but it's good for your gaming, apart from the fact you can't afford any games then.
Yeah, no, I've spent all my money. Excuse me. So last week was one disaster after another. As you know, I purchased the AV receiver a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to get back into playing my vinyl.
Yes.
So I'm not
Which
sure.
You seem to have been gone big time on recently as well.
I have, yeah, even for birthdays as well, which is coming soon. I'm not sure if I did say about my subwoofer last week.
No, I don't think you did.
So that went pop and did a test on the subwoofer by just putting my finger on the end of the cable to see if it would make any noise, and it didn't. I took it apart and it stank, so that was gone and dusted. So replaced that with a Cambridge Audio Aero 9, and that's not a sweet, by the way, Hayden. All right, you don't eat them.
Oh, okay. Sounded delicious.
So all was going well, and then my turntable failed, and the preamp on that was only giving me one part of the speakers coming out. But what was worse was it was unexpectedly getting my amp to shut down, and what was going on was that the amp was aware that the turntable was not working well, so it just needs to shut down for help. So just so it doesn't get damaged. So I replaced it with a Sony PSH X500 USB turntable. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So how much is the Sony one?
The Sony one was 230.
So what? PSH
X500.
Right.
And that's a USB turntable. So I did do some tests on recording off of vinyl, and it does it in a high quality as well. And it sounds pretty cool, must admit. So that's all up and running. It sounds amazing. So the last bit of tech, which you're probably aware of, is the status closed back studio monitoring headphones, which I picked up. I just want to say thanks to Glyn for pestering me about these, because he had them. He's had some for a while. And all I'm going to say for now is that they're wow. Very, very high quality at a very reasonable price. So I do want to, excuse me, I do want to give you guys a review, but at the moment we got your tech this week, haven't we, Hayden, on what you've got on there?
Well, we can always do mine another time.
No, but I haven't made some notes yet, so I'm still running. How do you put it? Running them in at the moment.
All right, okay.
So maybe do that next week, and then also mention my turntable as well.
Yeah, well, we can do a more tech-based sort of show next week, can't we?
Yeah. But what this has done is this has given me the bug for vinyl, and big time as well. I did pick up some stuff during Record Store Day last week, which I think we got a question on that.
I think we have, yeah.
So I'll mention that when we come to that. Also online, I found a company called silowave.com, and they're an online record company in Newcastle.
All right, okay, so about 45, 50 minutes away from where I am.
Yeah, and really good communication. They delivered me a first-class service in a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And he's putting something away for me because I've asked for something else. And he said, I can put that away for you, pal, no problem. So, Ian, thanks for that. Do appreciate that. There's another site which is mondotees.com, which is Mondo's. And they create limited edition screen-printed posters for a favourite classic contemporary movies, TV shows, etc., and comics. Mm-hmm. Along with that, they do vinyl movie soundtracks, VHS reissues, toys, and clothing. So they got a nice online shop there. They're based in Texas, which is Austin.
What's the postage like from Texas?
It depends what you have, because as I say now, my birthday's in a few weeks, so I'm picking up a couple of albums, and I've gone for a bit more of a higher class vinyl delivery with it. Mm-hmm. Now the couple that came the other day in the post, they were in a big thick cardboard, very well protected with bubble wrap and everything else, so I think it shouldn't be an issue. Mm. But having that extra, paying a little bit more for postage, because to be honest, the price for the dollars and that, it doesn't make much on it anyway, to be honest, I think. No,
it's not like the good old days where it was like $2 per pound.
Yeah, God, I remember that. So, for example, I've got an album there for $35, and that's pretty good actually when you convert it.
Yeah.
So I'll wait for those to come in about 3 weeks, I think they say to me. But what I like about that company is that they got their own art on the covers. Mm-hmm. And they're also remastered with the original tapes as well. And they're like expanding soundtracks, so they've got all the music. So, for example, if you'd bought one a few years ago, you'd have 8-10 tracks maybe.
Yeah.
Where, for example, my Jaws one, which is from Mondo's, that's got 27 tracks. And compare that to the original album I've got, which has got about 10. And it's for that one, for example, if it's for the first time that they got every piece of music on vinyl for the whole movie.
Yeah, because they've got Back to the Future and all sorts on there, haven't they?
Oh, can you see? Have you looking?
Yeah, I'm just having a look at while you're talking, actually, at some of the vinyls.
And there's a Space 1999 one done by the Italian composer, Ennio Morricone. Mm-hmm. Because they did their own soundtrack for the Italian version. So, yeah, you'll come across it in a minute. I'm sure you'll see the picture of that you'll recognise from Space 1999. So what's great about these is that these are like one-off batches of vinyl. So once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, very collectible.
Mm. So yeah, pretty cool, really.
Yeah, and they've got ones down to about $23, $25, haven't they, as well? They're all sorts of prices. They're not just really, $35, which is quite expensive, because that's about 30 quid for a record.
Yeah, I mean, you looking at, vinyl's gone up in price over the last few years.
Yeah, we were saying that last show, weren't we?
Yeah, so, but yeah, no, I think the quality, and also a lot of those are 180 gram vinyl.
Mm. But they also have video game soundtracks as well, because I've just noticed Republic.
Yeah, Afterburner's there as well, for example. And there was Portal, but I don't see it. I'm not sure if I can see that on there at the moment.
Space 1999 original motion picture soundtrack. I'm not sure there was a motion picture on it.
Well, that's probably where they class it, but it's Italian, if I remember rightly. I did go on the other site I was on. You're able to listen to the tracks.
Yeah.
Very different, but it's got a different take on it. But yeah, it's very collectible, must admit.
Yeah, I must admit, I quite like the look of the Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
That's my birthday present. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the Mutara Nebula vinyl, that was coloured
sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out. But that's all right. I mean, it doesn't matter too much. But that is just, can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But the Alien one I'm getting, that's sort of acid green vinyl. Mm. From the sort of the colour of the aliens. And they're both double albums as well.
Yes.
So, excuse me. So yeah, that's, without rambling on too much about vinyl, because I get people bored. That's about it, really.
Right. Okay.
How about yourself?
Well, nothing that much to report that's been going on the last couple of weeks. The main thing is, we'd had a slow leak for quite some time in an area in the bathroom that, we couldn't see, and it was literally just a drop. And anyway, I think I mentioned on the last show I spotted the fact that, I'd noticed damage to the ceiling. And it's going to be quite a big job. It's done quite a lot of damage over the time that it's been going drop, drop, drop. So unfortunately, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get done. But hey ho, that's life, isn't it? The joys of owning a house.
And that's a part of your insurance if you want to go for it, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's covered by my insurance, but it's all the hassle more than anything else, to be honest. It was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I got my last birthday present. It arrived, which is a Mamba gaming chair.
Sounds like she'd be dancing around it, doesn't it?
And it's very comfortable. It's one of these, ones that's sort of like a bucket seat sort of design with, the arms and headrest and lumbar support and stuff like that. But I'll talk about that later on because that's my tech, as it were. But I'll go through that. I also have updated my internet access as well because I told you I was getting problems with my router, didn't I? About dropping signal and stuff like that. And even though I had boosters, it wasn't doing anything. Yeah. Well, I was chatting to my next door neighbour, and he said, he's just got one of the new BT home hubs. And funnily enough, when he got that, coincided with the exact same time as when my internet problem started.
Do you know what? Funny you should say that, because I was reading something a little while ago about internet, and they were saying that sometimes your neighbours can actually interfere with yours. Never thought of talking to you about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I tried scanning the channels, and I tried setting the channel to an alternative to, anything anywhere else.
Yeah, because that's what they recommend you should do, is to try and separate yourselves there, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, even though, I'm out in the countryside, I'm in a built-up area in the countryside. And there's loads of Wi-Fi, and everybody's on different channels sort of thing. But because the new BT hub must have been just powering out such a strong signal, it was swamping mine.
Can you complain to BT?
Well, in the end, I thought, I'm going to go back to my internet service provider, because I thought I'll either buy a new router, which has got, dual band or tri-band or whatever.
Yeah.
And get something new, that's kicking it out, to a greater distance. So in theory, my signal should get through. Well, in the end, when I was talking to them, said, I didn't realise this, but I'd been finished on my contract with my service provider for 2.5 years, and I could have updated it. So when I was speaking to them, they said, we've got a brand new router. So I thought, well, for want of a better term, I'm quite happy. I wouldn't say totally happy, but quite happy with PlusNet, other than the fact that they give me well short of what they say is the minimum I should expect.
Yeah.
So I got their new PlusNet 1 router, and touch wood, seems to have solved all the problems.
Oh, good. That's all right.
And now the boosters seem to be working properly as well, because obviously the boosters, if they're getting a flaky signal, they're only going to be as good as the flaky signal that they pick up anyway, aren't they?
True, yeah.
So, seems to have all solved the problem, and it's costing me £6 a month less. So all of that is pretty good news, really.
Sort of win-win scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. I went to see Dwayne Johnson in the new Rampage movie as well.
It's got a bit of a slating from what I'm reading at the moment. Is it just to put your brain in the bucket and watch sort of movie?
Oh, completely. It's absolutely. I mean, bearing in mind, think about the game. It was just destroying, cities, wasn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
And the movie, they've taken very little available story on Rampage and actually put, something not believable, but, something decent enough to go with it as a story. And, it is, as you say, stick your brain in a bucket and just go along for the roller coaster ride, because it's, it is up and down, the whole movie. There's loads of action in it. The Rock is his normal good self as well, because it's always enjoyable to watch, is The Rock, I've always found.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that other film they got, that Skyscraper, which is like a remake of Die Hard. I'm not really quite sure if it is or not, but that's out in a few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, no, I really quite enjoyed it for just a mindless sort of movie.
Yeah,
you know, it was entertaining. Nothing more than that, but that was it, really. So that's it. All I've got to say, really, other than I've been playing a few games, starting to get back to doing a bit of variety in gaming. So the big one, God of War. And you played a bit of that, haven't you? That's the only thing you've played, isn't it?
No, actually, no, not really. But where I've not been well. I've not been in the frame of mind to be playing games, and where I've been very tired as well. It just hasn't really worked this week.
Yeah.
Although I do want to talk about Late Shift.
Yeah.
Because did we mention that last week?
We did, yeah. Yeah, we talked about it. Did we mention
it? Forget that then. The only other thing I've actually played is the demo for Detroit.
I haven't played that yet, but I've heard it's supposed to be like Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I'll have a quick talk about that when we get to that. But yeah, that's very much on my radar.
Yeah, I've still got to download that, but I haven't played it yet because, to be honest, I have been quite absorbed by God of War. But hasn't stopped me playing a few other games. I've done Batman VR, so I'll talk about that. The VR Worlds disc, which comes with the PSVR now. I'll talk about all of the different games and experiences that are in that. Also played Hellblade as well on the Xbox One this time.
Okay.
And Middle-earth Shadows of War on the Xbox One, and on the PC, Dead Rising 4.
Okay. So, I have played one other game.
Okay, what have you played?
It begins with D.
Destiny.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
And?
But there's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, the new thing's coming out, isn't it?
Not long now.
No.
And I'm just looking at the moment to purchasing it for the Xbox as well.
Well, as you should.
Don't say I'm not double dipping.
Well, I've triple dipped on that game, so I'm not going to say anything, am I?
Of course you're not. No.
And I know, I completely understand the double dipping thing. Anybody who doesn't understand double dipping doesn't have two consoles, or a console and a PC.
But it's all down to that controller, you know that. It really is. I can't really stress that enough.
Okay. So, anything else on the intro? Shall we go into gaming this week?
No longer a dream, but a reality.
All right, so gaming this week, we've got a couple of bits of gaming news. First off, possible bit of good news for PC owners. The demand on crypto mining, with all of this, Bitcoin stuff. The equipment that people use, is generally based around PC graphics cards and motherboards. And basically, what's been reported is that unexpectedly at the beginning of this month, Taiwanese computer industry journal DigiTimes have reported a drop. Major sellers of components such as MSI, Gigabyte and TUL have seen shipments heavily impacted, it's claimed, with shipments down up to 40% month on month. And this is a huge downturn in the sources, which sources lay firmly on the grounds of the reduction in the demand for cryptocurrency mining machines. What we might see is what we have started to see is some of these graphics cards starting to slowly come down in price, because when you look at the 1070 chips, for example, those graphics cards, they were originally billed to be £300. Well, you're spending £450 on them at the moment. They've shot up in price because of all of this crypto mining. And, obviously now that the bubble's burst on that, hopefully they'll start to fall. So if you're looking for a new graphics card at the moment, probably hold off, because that 1080 Titan might cost you, what a 1070 might have cost a couple of months beforehand. Another thing that's going to drive down the prices of PC graphics cards as well is that there are reports which means we might also see NVIDIA GeForce's GTX 2080s and GTX 2070 graphics cards next month at GTC, which will also drive down the prices of the 10 series graphics cards. So all good on the PC front, because I've been looking for a 1080 one, and the price is prohibitive. You know, you can get a whole console plus a load of games for less. So I just don't see the point in spending silly amounts of money at the moment.
I think PC gamers are used to it, though, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, but this whole crypto mining has really drummed up that price well in excess of where it should have ever have been. And I think if you've got caught on that, you know, you've really been quite unfortunate. But, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's a supply and demand sort of market. And if the demand's there, then, you know, the manufacturers are going to produce them at a higher price, aren't they? People are, you know, stupid enough to pay it.
Yeah, that's it. Really true. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see the prices coming down very shortly. The second piece of news, which one is one you might be more interested in, Steve, is about the Xbox Korea system and some of the information that's been suggested about this.
Yeah, because I think I saw somebody send an email talking about this, giving us some ideas of what they're going to be doing. I don't know if it's all confirmed yet.
No, it's not all confirmed, but some of the rumours that have been going around is that the Korea system will sit alongside your gamer score. And it will tally up players' achievements across all of the Xbox platform. There will be features in active development and testing at the moment, and some of them may not make it to launch. But Microsoft might be trying a career system that's similar to like a loot crate-like rewards for new avatars, which will bring, you know, vibrant and customizable characters for play on Xbox Live.
Well, the avatar scenario, there is a new avatar system coming out.
Yes, there is.
Which is for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe this will all be linked, but maybe this will all be announced at E3, I should imagine.
I would have thought so, and it'll probably link in with Xbox the rewards, Microsoft rewards system as well, because obviously, you know, the Xbox rewards has gone now and has been replaced, hasn't it? So
yeah. Do you think, is it time that they change the system for Xbox Live with Game Pass? Do you think that's still maybe a thing that can happen?
I don't think it is going to happen. I think that what they should do is they should have an Xbox Live Gold, as we have, and then Xbox Live Platinum. And the Platinum includes the Game Pass. That would make sense to me.
I think it would be a good deal as well to have.
Yeah, especially if they knock down the price a little bit for if you're doing the Platinum. Because let's face it, you wouldn't do the Game Pass if you weren't going on Gold anyway, would you?
Yeah, true.
So, well, it's very unlikely, I would have thought. But there are some other different ways that they've had ideas about, you know, what you might get in terms of your Xbox career system. So, earning XP will occur through earning achievements triggered by certain conditions. Some of those conditions Microsoft is testing, which include total playtime across all games to be updated at specific milestones, XP level milestones, the number of games you've played, simply playing a set number of games per day, completing the Xbox Live, competing on Xbox Live, although it's not clear on what content. Creating content on Xbox Live, perhaps by sharing game clips or streaming, and earning regular gamer score achievements. So those are what they're evidently looking at as ways that you will earn your XP in your career.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. I mean, I'm all for change, as long as it's, you know, good change.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of things like achievements and trophies, that's really your bragging rights, isn't it, to your friends or whatever, or anybody who's interested in it. You know, it kind of gives you that, want of a better term, status as a gamer about how committed you are to it. They're trying to change this, so I understand, is basically so that anybody who, for example, is like a constant COD player, and that's all that they play, will still be able to progress through the Xbox career system by playing a set number of hours in a week, or, you know, set number of hours in that particular game or whatever, or, you know, earning achievements the same as everybody else, all of that normal sort of stuff. So I think it is a kind of natural development from what we've already got. What that actually means in terms of this suggested loot crate-like reward system will be interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I think you want something more, not to be cheap on it, if you know what I mean. I know the idea of the VIP reward system, that's going to change, but where you're getting discount for example, with games. I think, is it including games? I think so.
Well,
So
you get discount through your different levels on that, don't you?
yeah, you get a slight percentage off. And for them to say to honour whatever XP you're earning and how you're going to collect back on this to help pay for a game, if it's going to chip in on that as well, that'd be handy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we would expect a full game, but they might, I mean, with the Game Pass in place, I don't think they'll just dish out games as such.
Well, I mean, the way that the Microsoft Rewards thing works is you can earn something like 20 XP a day through doing searches, and you get 3 points per search or something or other like that. But if you want like a $5's worth of Xbox credit, you have to earn 6,200 experience in order to get a $5's worth. Why they just don't make it 5,000, so it's like each thing's like 0.1 of a pence.
Yeah.
But they've got this silly number. And if they make it like that, then it's just kind of not really that achievable. They need to make it so it's going to be accessible and that people feel like they're being rewarded. I mean, you can accelerate up by doing certain quests and whatever, or, answering surveys or whatever to get extra points. But they're still piddling little numbers, and they need to be, more accessible, I think, especially when you're talking about digital content, which is not really costing them a lot to produce. Things like, a logo or an outfit for your avatar or whatever.
Yeah, I think personally I'd want something a bit more meaty than that. Either it was like, we can, get half price on the Destiny DLC, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be more beneficial.
Yeah.
Then you'd work towards that, because I fancy getting that, so that's only going to cost me 15 quid instead of 30 or whatever,
Or what if, if you spent so many hours playing a game, you get 50% off the DLC.
Would have smashed out on Destiny then, wouldn't we?
Well, I think that they would have actually been paying us to actually have the... I think they'd have actually been paying us to actually have play the DLC, to be honest, the amount of hours that we threw at it, especially you, Steve. You went way more over than what I did.
Well, do you know what? That is going to increase now, because I've just bought the DLC for 25 quid.
Well, I think we'll have to reform the fire team then, won't we, and start doing that, because I want to get my Warlock and Titan up to date on the Xbox as well, and start doing raids and stuff like that.
I've got a shed load. I need a shed load of stuff. I'm really sort of low down in it, so doing the first set of DLC, for example. Yeah. Which I can then jump in with that and start getting some decent weapons, start building them up again. But
well, my hunter's still low level on Destiny as well.
I just might go on tonight, because it should be downloading now, hopefully. So
I might just join you then.
Anyway, do you want to crack on?
So that's the end of the show, guys. Not really.
Yeah. See you later.
Okay. So do you want to do the new releases?
Yeah. Bear with me, let's scroll down. So on the 3rd of the 5th, we have Total War Sega, Thrones of Britannia on the PC. I'll say Saga, not Sega. I do apologise. Aqua Motor Racing Utopia on the Switch. That's on the 4th of the 5th. Darkest Dungeon Ancestral Edition, PS4. That's on the 4th of the 5th. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Switch on the same date. Snow Moto Racing Freedom on the Switch, same date. And Urban Trial Playground on the Switch, also on the 4th of the 5th.
And nothing for the Xbox.
There's going to be nothing until next year, is it?
They really need to get the game sorted out on the Xbox. Big style.
Yes, there's. I can't think of a game I'm actually looking forward to now. This side of summer, there isn't anything. So
no, it's a bit. What about State of Decay?
Well, I will be playing that on the Game Pass,
because that'll be next month, won't it? Is it next month it comes out? It's not long.
Or is it end of this month?
Well, then it would have been on that list.
Oh, sorry, no, yeah, we're at April. It'd be end of May, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Same time as Detroit Become Human, which is about the 25th. So
yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, it's quite a good game.
Okay, so charts. We've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo at number 5. At number 4, we've got FIFA 18. At number 3, we've got Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. At number 2, down from number 1 last week, we have Far Cry 5. And I don't think it's any surprise at all that we've got Farming Simulator 2019, not really. God of War at number one.
Yeah, and number one, but also being a one console owner for that, isn't it, as well?
An exclusive.
Exclusive, yes. The amount of copies it's got to get it to number one.
Well, it does have the most popular console of this generation.
Yeah, true.
But we'll talk about that in a moment, because I think that there's, a lot to say about it, really, isn't there? Okay, do you want to do Games for Gold?
Yeah, so Plus? Xbox One from the 1st of May to the 31st, we got Sega Mega Baseball 2. From the 16th of May to the 15th of June, we got Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. 360, Streets of Rage, May the 1st to the 15th, and Vanquish, the 16th of May to the 31st.
Okay, and on PlayStation Plus, we have PS4 side, Beyond Two Souls, which is a brilliant game, King Oddball, and Rayman Legends. I hate the Rayman games. PS3, we have Eat Them, King Oddball, and Risen 3 Titan Lords. Might dig out my PS3 for that one. On the Vita, we have Firmins and King Oddball. So that's the PlayStation Plus for the month as well.
Yeah. There's not a great deal there, to be honest, between the two of them, is there?
Not really, no.
We do own Metal Gear Solid 5, for example.
Yes. Vanquish is supposed to be a good game on the 360.
And Beyond Two Souls, I suppose, is the one for the PS4, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if you like, Heavy Rain, then Beyond Two Souls is really good as well.
But I think I do own Beyond Two Souls.
I think you did. I think you bought the set with Heavy Rain, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. I've still got the disc, so...
Did you ever actually complete it?
I know, so the disc hasn't even gone in yet.
Oh my God.
Excuse me, but, that's fine. I've got a lot of games to play between now and E3. And E3
how many times have you said to me, I don't know what to play, and you've had that sat there?
Well, I've got Ni no Kuni to play. I've got Persona 4 I'm starting a second playthrough on. And that is, by the way, I've got to say, this is a sale on at the moment for Japanese games on the PlayStation. And Persona 4, or should I say Persona 5, sorry, is $24.99 at the moment. Half price.
Still $24.99 more than I want to pay for it. Do you think it'll come to Plus?
I don't think so.
I don't think it will.
Too good a game for that, if that's the right way to put it.
Sorry, you were going to say there, Steve?
No, that's it. I'm just about to cough up a lower lung in a minute, so...
Well, in that case then, shall we talk about what games we've played this week?
Yeah.
So, do you want to do... are you going to talk about Late Shift anymore, or...?
We'll skip Late Shift, but we'll talk about Detroit Most Human. And then God of War, we'll bring in with yourself.
Yeah.
So you then can go through your other games as well, I think.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people have had their doubts, and they've been a bit and ahhing regarding this game. We saw the first trailer last year, didn't we, at E3?
Yeah.
And in my head, I've been thinking, I think I'm going to like this, and I'm hearing other people say, well, it's going to be a load of rubbish, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to put it out there now that this game is one for me to buy. Whether it's digital or not, I don't really know, but after playing through the demo twice, I'm hooked for it. And I love the idea of these games with consequences. I mean, exactly the same way that you remember when we played Late Shift.
Yes.
And every turn there's a consequence.
Yeah. And
that consequence can depend on the outcome of the game. And that's exactly the same for this game here as well. And the demo basically is a short piece which I think saw the trailer for at E3, where you're this android who's a hostage negotiator. And he has to get up to the building and talk the guy from shooting the little girl. Mm-hmm. And to improve your percentage of doing this, you look for clues around the room where when you explore the clues and you can then play back what happened, this will give you a bit more perspective on how to tackle the time when you go to negotiate for the hostage. And I think this is very clever. What you do is, for example, I think, should I actually talk about what actually happens in this one? I mean, I think people will be playing it.
Well, it is only the demo, isn't it? It's not the full game.
Yeah. So you start off, you walk into a room and there's police everywhere. It's all kicking off. There's the guy upstairs, or actually on that floor, is out there with the girl with the gun to her head. So you're going around the room looking for clues to add up to what's happening before you go outside on the veranda. And it starts off where I think this could be a point of maybe this will improve or not improve, because you find a fish on the floor and it gives you the option to put the fish back or leave it there and let it die. So that's the first part you come across. I actually put the fish in the bowl. I'm probably quite humane, to be honest. And from there, you go around to the room. And for an example, I found an empty case with which had a pistol in it, and you hover over the pistol, and you'll press a triangle. It will then bring up something and tell you what it is. You can merge it with something else, and then you hit the square button, and then it will replay the incident of what actually happened. And you'll see the shape of a guy taking down this gun out of this gun case to use. So you're piecing this together as you go along. You'll find a few people that have been shot. You will go over the body looking for clues. These will add up, and also there you will play out how they got shot.
Is the movement in this very much like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls?
I don't know, because I've never played them yet, have I?
No. But haven't you seen actually them played?
No, I have not seen anything, none whatsoever.
All right, a bit Life is Strange-ish.
In a way, I mean, it's great that what you can do is the Android can freeze frame the room.
Yeah.
With a trigger, and it can highlight where you can go to look for clues, and it all pops up in squares like sort of computerized. So you're looking through the eye of the Android.
Yeah.
Then you let go, and then the time carries on. But you're going to play these multiple times. For example, I played this scenario out twice. I died and saved the girl, and the second time I saved the girl. I didn't die, but the sniper took out the Android that had the gun to her head.
Right.
And the quality of the video as such, it just looks brilliant. Very much sort of iRobot that comes to mind, for example.
Yeah.
And obviously I think, because what you can do with the demo, you can go back to the game save after the fish, and you can then replay it again to see if you can change the outcome.
Mm.
And what it would do is, after you finish, it will bring up a chart of what you've unlocked and how many endings there are.
Right. So it sounds a bit hidden agenda-ish in the way it's structured.
Yeah, I can see where you're saying that. Yeah, that's true. In the same way that you play that story out, don't you? And
yeah, and there's different outcomes.
Yeah, but I think PlayStation have nailed this really well.
Mm.
And I say, as much as I'm probably still going to be chugging along with God of War when this comes out end of the month, be straight onto this. To be honest, you've got to give it a go, even if you maybe not tonight, because we should play some Destiny. Hopefully, try and get it on. Try and get on it over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I'm seriously thinking of it, because I meant to download it and I haven't.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I haven't downloaded it yet, but I do want to play, because this is one of the ones on PlayStation that I've been looking forward to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hate this to say this, but Microsoft aren't touching PlayStation for games at the moment.
No, not for
any
first-party developers or exclusives.
And the games that are coming up between probably now and September, Microsoft haven't got really anything. They've got a couple, maybe one or two, but it's really poor.
The worst thing is that they've got the best console to play multi-format games. Basically, that's where they are at the moment, and they need to do something about that.
Yeah. I mean,
but
maybe
it takes time to develop them. That's the thing.
It does, but maybe the second half of the year might be their half. There might be their,
Yeah. Well, I can't see them, putting up with it for much longer. I mean, you think about how long it took them to turn the thing around from having the weakest console to the most powerful.
Mm.
And now they're in the process of getting the games right for the most powerful console.
Yeah.
Just before they become not the most powerful console again, because we'll be looking at the PlayStation 5.
Well, it's horses for courses for that, isn't it? To be honest, it's it's just the way it goes. It goes from one side to the other, backwards and forwards. It's like table tennis, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a game of ping pong between them, isn't it? With Nintendo being the net. Stuck in between.
I don't know about their cardboard being the net, but there you go. I'm not going to go into that.
Well, I mean, we've got a bit of a debate on going on over Facebook about the new Labo stuff.
I don't want to get into trouble by talking about it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, for those of you who don't know, it's like Nintendo have invented cardboard gadgets for your Switch, which I think how it works is incredible. But, and this is a big but, it's cardboard. Cardboard is not durable. And when you're paying £100, well, it's not £100, is it? It's about £70 for, cardboard, stencils to fold and, create something for kids. It doesn't sit right with me. I think that you have to be that sort of arty-farty kind of...
Don't get me wrong, this is great for kids.
Oh, fantastic for kids.
Absolutely. I'm going to say it now. I don't care what anyone says. Nintendo works well for kids.
Yeah.
It's a console that kids love to play. I know adults do too, but I just think really it's their market is children. And, they got it right for that. But other than that, you'd be worried about your recycling when you're more. But, Jesus, I have bad enough time with food recycling and cardboard from Labo as well.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it was like when you were, had a young kids, but the amount of cardboard that you get brought home from school of, look at this, I've sellotaped a sponge to a flake box. Look, it's a spaceship. Sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's a prized possession for days and days and days, and you got this stuff adorning your house, and it's just another one of those sort of boxes. I think if you're into your creativity and your art and stuff like that, I can see you enjoying it. Personally, I think it would have been better if they'd have done it as a plastic. If they'd have done this as a plastic, fantastic for that durable, price. Yeah, because it would be durable. And, we've had the argument on the Facebook group as well of, well, you've got the template that you can cut out more cardboard. Well, you've got to find the right type of cardboard. Also, depending upon how it is, because some of this is quite complicated. Actually cutting out a bit of cardboard could be quite complicated for people as well. And when it breaks, because it will break, it's cardboard, when it breaks, you're going to get in that situation where it's going to be, Dad, I want this fixing. Dad, I need it fixing. That I want to play with my friend. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Well, you'd be getting bits of sellotape to hold it together. I think it looked like something that looks someone just coughed up.
Yeah, I think if they'd have done it in plastic that that you folded or whatever or clipped together, it would have been fantastic. I just think cardboard, it's the wrong move. That I'm just speaking as a consumer and as a parent.
Yeah, no. It's. I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there that probably love playing this.
I'm sure. Well, it's great they can colour it in and decorate it how they like. I think in terms of innovation, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Implementation being cardboard, for creativity, an idea and vision, 10 out of 10. Implementation, 0 out of 10. To be honest. Yeah. Because it's cardboard. It's, they take it outside into the rain, it's going to start turning to mush pretty quickly, or they spill a drink on it, anything like that. And what you're going to do, laminate it first, so you might as well have just had it in plastic, Yeah. I'm not being, personally, I don't think I'm being an old fogey about it. I just think it's silly in cardboard. That's the only thing I've got against this. I think otherwise, a brilliant idea.
It's cheap to produce. Because they just got the cardboard sheets come out and they just, go through the machine.
Yeah, but would you want to play £70? No.
So the wrong price.
For a game that, by the look of the games that they've actually got on there, don't actually look, AAA. But, for an average game with cardboard peripherals, so effectively speaking, you're spending £35 on a game, £35 on cardboard. I just think it's daft. I mean, my son, he's very careful with stuff, but I still don't think it'll last very long.
Yeah.
Especially when friends come round, who, friends tend not to be as respectful of other children's toys as their own. I just think it's disaster waiting to happen. But
anyway, should we stop slagging off Nintendo because people are going to get upset?
I'm not slagging them off. I'm saying 10 out of 10 for idea, 10 out of 10 for the idea, 0 out of 10 for implementation. But anyway, let's digress. We digress. So as you're right, let's get on with the gaming that we've been doing.
Do you want to do your games? Should we leave God of War to last?
Okay, we'll leave God of War to last. So PC, I've been doing a bit of PC gaming in terms of Dead Rising 4 because this was part of the Humble Bundle for May. So I've been fancying playing this for a while on the Xbox.
I'm a bit lost with Dead Rising now. Which version of Dead Rising is this?
It's version 4. It's the latest one. It's a new story.
I've got this on Xbox actually.
Yeah, it is on Xbox as well. Yeah. But it's not exclusive to Xbox.
No.
So it's set in the year 2022, and it's a year after the zombie outbreak in Los Pedios. in California. And Frank West, former journalist, is now a college professor. He's approached by one of the students, Vicky Chu, who convinces him to help her investigate reports about a military compound which is on the outskirts of Willamette, Colorado, the site of the first zombie outbreak. Once inside, they discover that the place is being used for zombie research, but when they discover it, they're forced to flee, and then Frank is labelled as a fugitive when he's falsely accused by the government. 4 months later, after Christmas, Frank is found by Brad Park, an agent of the ZDC, who convinces him to help investigate the new zombie outbreak during the Black Friday sales in exchange for the means to clear his name and exclusive rights to the story, revealing that Vicky has already left to investigate the matter herself. So it's the usual sort of gratuitous zombie slaughter, which is back with a vengeance, that you got from the other ones. The game uses the weapon crafting system just like the previous games did as well, and the game still has core action, character progression, and is very much a survival sort of game. Photography is also back with different modes. So there is, for example, a night vision mode, and there's another mode there as well that you can use. One more for picking out fingerprints and stuff like that, on keypads and that, so you can pick locks, as it were. So that's the overall game. I've never been a big fan of the previous games, but as I said, this came in a humble bundle, so I thought, well, I quite fancied it, having a go after watching The Walking Dead, playing a bit of zombie survival. So
yeah.
And I watched oh my God, I watched The Walking Dead, the last episode of season 7. How good was that episode?
I'm still on season 6 at the moment, so...
I thought I was going to cheer at one point on the last part of season 7. I got so absorbed into it. But, I know that zombies not everybody's sort of taste, but the combat I found to be a little bit easier in this version of Dead Rising. I think it's... Yeah. So I think it's, just maybe it's just the way I was playing it, or maybe, they have improved it, but, it's okay. It's not the sort of game that, I'm going to go out and rush home thinking I've got to play that. But it's an enjoyable, for what I've played of it so far, an enjoyable kind of game. Worth investigating if you've got the Humble Bundle for this month.
Yeah, I've played some of the game. I haven't completed it, but I've had a bit of a dip into it.
So what did you think of it?
Yeah, it's much of the same, especially with the weapons.
I love the weapon combos that you can do.
Oh, yeah, I'm sitting out there. I think at the moment I'm stuck in a warehouse in the street somewhere. And
I love the fact that you also start off with a Lucille, a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. Oh,
God, that's just a classic, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, I think I prefer this to the way that the other ones had that timer where you were given them, you had a clock against you for saving someone.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And some of them, I think you were never able to actually save, to be honest.
Yeah.
There were some that by the time I'd started running, as soon as the timer had set off, they were dead before I got there. So what's the point in doing a timer on them? It's stupid. That's just to get you more stressed out when you're playing the game, I think.
We've only got about 6 or 7 achievements in the game, just looking now, so...
yeah.
Maybe I should start that from scratch, but not right now, though. I've got too many games to play on the PlayStation.
Oh, God, yeah. And you need to be playing Beyond Two Souls as well. You'll love that. It's right up your street, I think.
Yeah. I should. At some point I will do. I say God of War at the minute, and I think I'll play that until the 25th of May. So what's the Batman VR like? How was that?
Right, well, this is Batman that's based in the Rocksteady Batman universe, same as, the other Batman games. So the basic story of it is that one of your allies has been killed and another one is missing, and it's your job to track down your ally and solve the murder. So this is a game that is PSVR enabled, and you have to have it in order to play the game. And it's very effective, I think. Graphically, really good. It looks excellent. It looks all the models are exactly the same as in a Batman game. It looks of the same sort of quality as that as well. So I don't have any issues with it graphically. The movement is using the warping sort of system, which it isn't as bad as it sounds. Because I know that this is something that you've been thinking, I'm not too keen on it. But basically, you go to an area.
You point and you sort of shoot over there, don't you?
Well, no, you don't shoot. You just immediately appear.
So you're basically transporting, like in Star Trek, everywhere.
Yeah, effectively speaking. So and all it does is it just feels like, a scene change in a TV show. But it makes good use of the VR because on some of the areas, on several of the areas, you've got to go to different points in the same room, and these are all preset. So it's not like you can actually point and click and say, I want to go to that position right over in that corner. You have to go where it says. So it is limited in that sort of respect, but you don't particularly feel that much because they make good use of the environment, and you can pick things up, you can manipulate them and whatever as well. So that's all good. So I wouldn't get too hung up about the movement thing with the warping. There's no real combat in this. There's only one bit where you're attacked that I can think of, and all that you do is just aim a batarang at them and throw it. So it's not like you're going to be, throwing your arms about trying to defend yourself. You don't need the move controllers for this as well. It works absolutely fine with just the normal DS4 controller. Very atmospheric. When you're in some of the scenes and some of the bad guys are actually coming right up into your face, and you're sort of like seeing them to scale in real life. It does make it feel quite different to playing a normal game, to be honest with you. It's not very long as a game. It's about 1.5 to 2 hours if you just play it nice and steady through.
Would you think that's about right, really, for a VR game?
It's difficult to say. For this one, it was about right, but it depends upon the story. I think if this was like a £30-40 big budget release like Resident Evil, I would have said no, to be honest, because, it would have cost so much more. But this felt okay at that amount of time. And it was good that I got it done all in one sitting, so I didn't have to save it and come back. And when you've completed the story, then you unlock multiple Riddler clues in the game as well, and you have to find certain artifacts by playing through the game again. So it gives you that replayability, and that unlocks new models for you to be able to play as well. It is quite expensive for such a short game, because I think it's like $11.99 or $15.99 normal price. But you can get it for cheaper. It's been in the sales I've seen on a few times, but it's well worth a play if you like Batman.
They'll probably give it away at some point, do you think?
I don't know. They seem to be giving bigger games away on PSVR.
Yeah.
I mean, it's indie game, but Bound, for example, I think that's a longer game. But with Bound, you can also play without the VR headset on as well. It's actually quite an unusual experience playing a third-person platformer sort of game on a VR headset.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this. This is one of the things that I really wanted to play first when I got the PSVR, and I'm really glad that I have. I have played it through again since. The story's really good, quite enjoyable. It links in with one of the other Batman games as well.
Oh, okay.
So, it goes in the context of that. It gets very warped towards the end of the game as well. Because there's all sorts of psychological stuff going on. But, enjoyable. If you've got PSVR, you've not tried this, and you like Batman, it's a no-brainer, try it. And if you don't like Batman, but you understand the universe of Batman, then have a go as well. But it's good that you can, look around the characters from, most angles and stuff like that as well. It makes good use of the 3D environment. And when you're up there at the top of one of Gotham's higher sort of skyscrapers, at the edge near where all the gargoyles are and that, and you look down, That looks a long way.
Does it give that sense of dread, does it?
So, actually, yes, in a strange sort of way it does, even though that you know that you're quite safe, that you're just in your living room or wherever, you look down and your brain is telling you something else.
That's how good. If it's good VR, that works well, because it is tricking your brain well, and you could probably get a better experience out of it for that.
Yeah, I would say you probably could. But no, I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was. I think it was expensive, but it was for what it was. But it was worth the money.
Yeah.
For me, but as a superhero sort of fan. So okay. So the next one is VR Worlds, which comes with the PSVR. There are several different games or experiences, because they're not all full games, on the disc. The main one is London Heist, and this is really the standout one on the disc, I would say. Excuse me. Basically, you follow a London heist that has gone wrong. So there's not much in the use of weaponry apart from a couple of scenes. Most of it is story. And you have interactions in there. So, for example, when you start off the story, one of the opening scenes after, because it keeps going in flashbacks, this story. The first flashback, you're in a London pub, and this London geezer comes in and tells you about what sort of job that you're doing, and there's a mobile phone on the table, and there's a cigar, and there's a lighter, and, you can, sit there smoking your cigar, and, sticking it on the ashtray or whatever, and then at one point in the game, the guy turns around and says, "Have you got a light?" And you light up his cigar. So there's, nice little things like that. Not all that you see is you just see these floating disembodied hands, when you're moving about. But again, you don't need to move controllers because you can use a joystick to do it.
Okay, right.
You go through the heist, the heist sort of goes wrong and you end up in a shootout. In that, there's another scene where you're escaping from the heist and you're being chased by people on motorbikes and people in cars, and you have to shoot out those as well. So yeah, it's good, very, sort of like London feel to it as well in terms of the accents and whatever. And when you're sat there, because your character sat, on a chair in some of the torture scenes, and the guy's putting his face in your face sort of thing, and you can look around his head and stuff like that. But it doesn't actually sense what I think would have been quite nice is, I thought, I wonder what would happen if I tried to stroke his face and your hand just goes straight through. You know what I mean? I thought, have they done it so that there's an interaction, so if you try and touch him, he'll do something, but they haven't. It's all very scripted.
Right, okay.
But my son, was watching that particular part, so I was patting him on the head, good boy, good Mr. Thug. And then I told him to get out pretty quick because some of the language is quite choice in that as well. But no, I really enjoyed that. And at the end of the game as well, there is also, you don't have to play through that part of the game. There is also a shooting gallery that you can go on to. And in the shooting gallery, things will pop up. Obviously, the targets, you shoot them. There are ones that pop up that you don't shoot. There's bottles being flung through the air that you can shoot. All sorts of things. I think there's a hare that runs across the screen a couple of times that you shoot as well.
Oh, okay.
But it's all done in a warehouse sort of thing, and it's designed as you're practicing ready for the heist. It's done in that kind of vein. But, you can pick up the gun, you can cock the gun ready and whatever. So it's quite effective, really, as a VR title.
I think I might have seen this advertised somewhere. I'm sure I've seen a bit of video for this.
Yeah.
It does ring a bell.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. It's definitely the best one on there. The next one is Scavenger's Odyssey. This is a short, linear, first-person shooter where you use a dual shock 4 to pilot a mech suit. Not very long, and basically some people have also reported they've got motion sickness because of this one. I haven't actually really tried that very much so far, so I can't really talk about that. Another one is Danger Ball. And what I would describe this at is a 3D Pong game.
Okay.
Can you imagine what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a bit of an idea.
So you control a paddle that's on screen, and it operates in a 2-dimensional space of, left, right, up or down, but not in depth, as it were. And you look down a tunnel to somebody else who has a similar sort of paddle at the other end. And basically, what you do is you headbutt the ball that comes towards you back. And if you if you move your head to the side, as you headbutt it, it puts a spin on it, or you can do power shots and stuff like that. So, it just makes the ball go in different directions than what you would expect. But it is that very much Pong, breakout, Arkanoid-y kind of game, but in 3 dimensions. So imagine if you were the paddle on Arkanoid and you were looking up at the tiles above you, and then you were sort of like hitting them, with face on. That's kind of like what it would look like. It's actually quite enjoyable. Okay. The only problem is that you end up headbutting so hard that you nearly fling the blooming PSVR unit off your head.
You don't be doing that.
No, you don't. So what I ended up doing was just holding on to the side of the PSVR while headbutting, and that seemed to work well.
Oh, okay.
So, actually that one is quite good fun, and my son loved that as well. He was playing that for ages, and then his cousin came round and he was playing it for ages as well. Next game is VR Lunge, and you're in a lunge racer coasting down busy streets, dodging cars by looking left and right. Head-on collisions with trucks barely slow you down on this, which, considering you'd probably be flattened, is a bit daft. And I found you didn't get much sense of speed on it either, but it was okay.
Typical VR type racer.
Yeah, basically. And then the last thing to talk about on the disc was Ocean Descent. And this is an experience, this isn't a game.
Right, okay.
So remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Jaws, and with Richard Dreyfuss getting lowered in that cage.
Yeah.
Well, this gives you the idea of what might have happened to him when he was lowered in the cage.
Oh, okay. Is that sort of... Because
you get lowered as a, what do you call it? Is it stingray sharks, the flat ones, swimming along, under the water, and then you get lowered a little bit further down, and then there's a great white shark, and then, it starts to attack your cage, and then you get...
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, it is actually. It is very cool, and, you can look around in full 3D, in any direction, and it's a very entertaining sort of experience, but it's an experience. It's very, choreographed. It's the same every time, so it's not randomly generated or anything to your movements. It is just a set piece, but it does show off the potential for VR very well.
So one-time playthrough, yeah?
And I've gone through it a couple of times, actually, just to get the kind of experience. And it's quite nice when you listen to it with the headphones on as well, so you get that slightly better sound.
Okay. Yeah, probably quite cool.
Yeah. But don't forget, this is a disc that's free.
Yeah, so anything that's free is good. That's what I say.
Yeah, but London Heist is probably the one that you'll end up playing the most. Out of all of those. Have you tried the Star Trek game yet? No. And that's the one you really want me to play the most, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I could play it as a 2D, but it'd be interesting to see that. Yeah. Well, I've had one or two community members saying, they want to join me doing that as well. So, yeah, well, I will get onto it, but obviously I don't want to use the VR unit with having conjunctivitis. Cause, no, you don't want to be doing that. You'd be passing on every all and sundry. It puts headset on, wouldn't you? Yeah, so my VR units at the moment are hung up, and that's it.
until I get over this, but hopefully in the next few days it'll go, and then I can start playing it again. Because it's annoying that, I've got this expensive kit that I'm not really using at the moment. But I suppose that's always been a big worry about VR anyway, hasn't it?
No, it's not something you'll be getting at every 5 minutes of the day, is it?
No, but it is permanently plugged in downstairs.
Yeah.
But I've plugged it in a normal PlayStation, so when I test it, I'm testing it on its most basic. I'm not deliberately not done it on the Pro.
Okay.
So moving on then.
Yeah, what else have you been playing?
Middle-earth Shadows of War. Or Shadow of War,
You've been playing this before, haven't you? So
I played it on the PS4, but it was on CD keys for £14 something. With a PC key and an Xbox key, because it's a Xbox Play Anywhere title.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad price.
No, I thought it was really good. It's only the standard edition. And all I can say is this looks absolutely beautiful on the PS4. Graphics look great at 4K. It is a follow-up to the successful Shadow of Mordor, which came out of the left field for all of us, didn't it, really? This was one of those games that was sort of like, oh, and this is released next week, and it came, and it was a massive hit. Basically, though, in terms of the sort of game, if you didn't like that game, you're not going to like this one, because it's more of the same. Basically, it's a new story. It's based on, it's a follow-up to the original. You're still continuing the story of Talion and Celebrimbo, if that's how you pronounce it. And I hate these stupid names. Following on their story, and it goes into the creation of the One Ring and, all of that Lord of the Rings sort of stuff that we all love and enjoy, as it were.
Yeah, that's it.
But it uses an updated version of the Nemesis system as well, which was in the first game. So, if you were defeated in a previous game, then they would be upgraded, so they would be harder to kill the next time, and they would remember you. And it would be like, oh, you come back for another beating? Oh, I thought I killed you. And all of this, that, and the other, taunts that they do with you as well.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling about that last time, actually, when you played it, which I think was it the PlayStation 4 first time around, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Or was it the Xbox? I can't remember. But
no, it's PS4.
PS4, yeah. Bit of a tough game, though, isn't it?
Well, it's got that Batman, Arkham Knight City, sort of feel in terms of the combat. And once you start getting in the rhythm of, the moves to do that, and you see somebody who's going to attack you, so you just press the counter, you can get a really good rhythm going in fighting everybody. The key is to be stealthy on the game, though. But the one thing that's different in this game to the previous one, I mean, if you remember, you recruited the orcs to attack for you. Well, it's much more structured now, so you're creating an orc army, and you have to keep defeating all of these, like, overlord sort of characters.
Oh, okay.
So they've developed that as well. They've moved everything on, the next notch up. And I never actually completed this on a PS4, because this came out, was it just after my dad had died? So I was playing it on the PS4 basically because that was the console that I had available at the time to me.
Yeah, because you were fleeting backwards and forwards between houses, weren't you? So
I was, and I was only playing on an evening, and it was when I was playing on an evening that I was concentrating on, this Destiny. So, that's why I thought, well, I'm going to start afresh, and I might, I quite like the idea of having it on the Xbox and PC, so I thought £15, and it's on the Xbox One X, so why not?
Good.
Yeah, so it's a really good value for money, I think, and it's quite a long game to play as well, so I would thoroughly recommend it.
Because you've double-dipped 2 games here, haven't you, really? So, Hellblade.
I've triple-dipped on that one.
Why did you triple-dip on this?
Well, I got it for the Pro after I'd had it on the PC. Hellblade then got released suddenly on Xbox.
I thought this might be not the sort of game you could actually play 3 times.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, apart from the fact that I think I must be going senile in my old age because so much of the story I actually missed, but I am actually enjoying going back through the title again. I mean, I haven't actually completed it on PS4, but on the Xbox, I just wanted to see what it was like on the X. And there's 3 different modes that you can do it. You can do it with enhanced visuals, you can do it 4K mode, or you can do it higher refresh rate.
Okay. So it gives you nice round options there to play with.
Yeah. So the high refresh rate runs at a silky smooth 60 frames a second, which is very nice. High resolution is obviously for your 4K, and the enhanced visuals includes, things such as additional fog and foliage density, shadow quality, and higher resolution textures.
So which one did you choose?
4K. Why wouldn't you?
Well, it might be worth trying between just having a little peek at the other to see what the difference is.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, I showed you a picture of it anyway, didn't I? I sent you a picture.
Did you? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, it was in our conversation with Alan.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding. Some bits of this look so photorealistic. As a game, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a stunning game. It was my game of last year.
I mean, I know we're not going to, we'll talk about it in a minute, but how would you put this up against God of War on PlayStation?
It's difficult because it's kind of like comparing an aeroplane to a helicopter. They kind of do the same thing, but they do it completely differently.
We're going to obviously go into that in a minute, but that looks amazing, even on the PlayStation 4, to be honest.
What, God of War?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this looks amazing on a standard PlayStation. And on the PC, it looks fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Because don't forget that, this was a inverted commas, console exclusive.
Yeah.
But it was out on PC. But it wasn't a console exclusive, it was a console timed exclusive. That was a bit of naughty advertising, I think, there.
Same way that Tomb Raider was for the Xbox.
Yeah, but Tomb Raider was advertised as a timed exclusive.
It was, yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah. But, I mean, obviously we talked about this game a lot in the past. It's a game about mental illness. The character, the main protagonist, she's mentally ill, traumatized, and it's just about her perception of the world and her very distorted perception. And it's such a unique game because it doesn't use a heads-up display. The heads-up display for you is actually in audio because voices whisper to you.
Exactly, yeah. And do you know what? I think it well deserved the accolades it got in the BAFTAs last month.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic game. It's a fantastic bit of story. And what they've actually done in, raising awareness of mental health and the stuff that they've done to support mental health from the development of this game. They've, I think on the first PlayStation sale, they said all sales of it, the sales would go to a mental health charity. And that sort of thing is fantastic. Well worth doing. It looks so incredibly realistic. I mean, I know that, we've seen, God of War doesn't look as realistic as this, to be honest, graphically. This looks a lot more convincing. But that's not to say that the graphics on God of War aren't good. They're excellent. This is just different, but it's a different type of game entirely.
Yeah.
It focuses on puzzle solving, but it's also combat orientated as well. And the combat does get really quite convoluted eventually. Especially when you're talking about having 5 or 6 enemies attacking you all at once. You've really got to know what you're doing in terms of that combat. You think it's difficult when you first start. That's nothing. That's the sort of thing that, you end up doing those fights in about 10 seconds flat. That takes you about 10 minutes when you first start playing.
Yeah.
And I'm playing it on the hardest level as well, on the game as well. So, it's such a good game. Well worth it. Enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, cool. I'm just having a quick look to see if on the Xbox it's in Dolby Atmos as well. I don't think it is, because that would give that headphone enhancement a little bit more of a tweak. But I can't seem. I thought
that the headphone enhancer thing on Dolby was for all of them.
No, because I've got a list of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 games and one experience, which is Insect, which are Dolby Atmos games. But yeah, no, I definitely, actually I might go back to the PlayStation and put my new headphones in, try that and see what that sounds like.
I think you should, because it is a brilliant game. It is so well worth playing.
It wasn't a bad price, was it? For, what was it, 15 quid or something at the time?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
Because it's just come out. It's a £25 game, but, with, deals with gold, it was $22.50. Which isn't that much of a deal, but, $2.50 is better in my pocket than someone else's.
Yeah, of course.
So, shall we talk about the big elephant in the room, or should I saw the big, Kratos in the room?
With a little kid tagging along behind him?
Yeah, otherwise known as Grumpy Dad Simulator.
It's either that or, it's a parent simulator of some kind, isn't it?
Yeah, single father simulator.
Excuse me, yeah. So how are you finding it?
This has had me quite absorbed. To be quite honest, I've never been the biggest God of War fan. I've appreciated it from afar, but I've never really delved so deep into it. But this is different to the other God of War games. The previous ones were very arcadey. Mm-hmm. This one, I think, focuses more on storytelling and a little bit more on puzzles than the previous games. There's still all the, upgrading RPG goodness that's in there as well. But the leveling system's very different on this game as well.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come across a leveling system like this before, to be honest.
I thought it was quite like Destiny, to be honest.
It's a lot more involvement with upgrades. I mean, obviously you've got yourself and your son to deal with.
Yeah.
And then there's different attachments. I mean, this does seem a bit more involved than Destiny was for me, I think.
Maybe that's because you're not used to the world, though, more than anything else.
I've not played God of War before. This is my first, my noob time in such an environment.
Yeah. So you won't know the story of it all.
I haven't got a Scooby, but it doesn't matter, to be honest. Honestly, it doesn't matter.
No, I think that this is...
I think I'm actually Thor at the moment with that axe. Do you know what I mean?
So you haven't come across Thor yet, then? No,
I'm sure there's something there, but as I say, I've only got as far as meeting the guy that upgrades your axe for the first time.
Oh, one of the blue dwarf.
Yeah, so he's got this animal with all his goods on it, and he's hung on a bridge, sat there, and you've got to throw your axe into the trees, and it sort of ruffles his feathers a bit, so he gets up, doesn't he? And then the kid draws him across the bridge, and that's where you upgrade your weapon for the first time.
Right. Okay. So, right, have you seen the world serpent yet?
Probably not.
No, a massive snake bigger than a mountain.
No, I tell you what, that dude at the very beginning.
Yeah.
How annoying was he?
Oh God, that fight took forever.
And I thought, this is going to be in parts because you think, there's no way I'm going to survive this. And my health's right down. He's kicking my ass. I'm dying all over the place. And you just about scrape through. Then the cutscene kicks in. Your health's back up again. And then you have another bout of fighting. And it's just, but it's very clever though. It looks very well done.
Yeah. And graphically it looks really beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of him yet. Funnily enough, I don't know. I don't want to know, but that's just my thought, to be honest. So very early on in this game at the moment, I obviously haven't reached the top of the mountain yet. I don't think it is a spoiler to say that you haven't, because I think you've already sussed that. Even though he broke his neck and he's fallen off a cliff, do you know what I mean? You also run into his brothers later on as well. What's his name? Steve Austin. I can't remember what his name is. It begins with a B though, but yeah, I can think of a name beginning with B and all. But yeah, sounds like Bar Steward. Exactly. But it's a fantastic game, I must admit. The environment's lovely. At some point in the game, you think, "Oh, I've got to move my controller." It's one of those games, you know. Yeah. You're just watching this stunning bit of video, but then you realise I've got to move forward. Yeah. Have you tried going to different realms? Have you got that far? I don't. I'm just following the story. I haven't even sort of gone off piece, as they say.
Have you got up the mountain?
No, I haven't got there yet.
Man, God, you're so early on.
I know. As I say, I've been poorly this week, and gaming hasn't been what I've really
not been your priority.
No, not at all.
No,
I've just been chilling. But so I went on it this afternoon.
No, I mean it's a fantastic story. Basically, Kratos is a father. The mother of his child has died, and the story is about her wanting them to take her ashes to the highest.
Yeah, that's probably just the start of the game. To be honest, I should imagine
that is just the start of the game.
How many hours is this game supposed to be?
It's supposed to be about 20 to 25 hours, but I think that's for a bit more of a speed run. To be quite honest with you, I would say it'd probably be about closer to 30, 35.
Because I don't know about you, but I did leave on experienced. I thought I weren't going to put it on the easy mode.
Yeah, well, there's no point in playing on easy mode, is there?
Well, you'd get the story done and dusted, wouldn't you? But I think...
Yeah, but easy mode is for people who can't play games.
Yeah. I have died a few times, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And...
I've died loads.
If we can talk about this a little bit, because it is very early on.
Yeah.
At one point, you're in sort of like a castle area, and you go over the bridge, you take the bridges down, and you get further up to get up again with the chains and go on and so forth, which takes you up towards that dude with the blue dude, yeah?
Yeah.
If you sort of go off piste and go down one section, there's a guy down there with a purple bar.
Yes, I know the one.
He killed the freaking daylights out of me. I left him out. I thought, sod you, mate. I'll leave you till later.
Yeah.
If I can come back and see you then, I will do.
Enemies
Bye for
purple, basically probably too strong for you. Although I did kill him.
Yeah.
I did do it, but basically, don't forget to use your son's bow.
Yeah, well, what I've started to do is I'm upgrading him more than me at the moment.
Right.
Because I feel that he needs to be stronger.
He gets there pretty quickly anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a great game. Again, another hats off to Sony for this one.
I think it's, one of their best games so far.
I mean, the other game, is it Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be good looking as well, isn't it?
It is a good looking game. Very good looking game.
Now that's on sale at the moment.
Yeah, I have to admit, don't you feel, and I don't know how much you will or not, because actually thinking about it, I don't think you've played the game that much, but don't you feel that God of War has very much a feeling of Horizon Zero Dawn about it, in terms of looks?
Yeah.
I think I don't know why, but it was one of those things, it was bugging me, and then I saw somebody had posted something about some artwork that someone had done, and it was Kratos with, I forgot what her name is from Horizon Zero Dawn. on it, and I just thought that feels so familiar with it, because it just felt like the environments and whatever in some of the areas just reminded me quite similar of it. I think for me, one of the poorest things on this is the map. Have you used the map at all?
No, because it's not much open at the moment.
No, I mean, I've unlocked loads of the areas. I'm getting near the end of the story now, and I just feel that the map, it shows you where key points of interest are, but it doesn't show you the route to them, which to me is the whole point of a map. You know, it's more like a satellite scan with key points located rather than a map. The compass works a bit weird because it does direct you, but once you get close to a turning, it tends to suddenly jump all over the place.
Right. But
generally works okay, so follow your compass. But it has on a couple of occasions sent me up a blind alley. And I think sometimes the world is quite massive, so figuring out where something was took a long time. And another thing as well is, have you come across the mirrors? Well, the doors that have got like a diamond-shaped mirror on them that says you can't unlock this at the moment, but it records that you found them.
No, I don't think I've even noticed those yet, to be honest.
I would have thought that you should have seen 2 or 3 of them if you've passed the bit where you fight the first guy.
I found something that was like a chest. Well, it was lying on the floor that had a...
No, these are doors.
Okay.
But the doors, but with like fancy mirrors on, and they're always the same. And you've got to find either 7 or 9 of those, and behind them is an enemy to defeat behind each one, and they are tough. They are very, very tough.
Yeah.
I've actually given up going behind them at the moment to concentrate on raising my level. So the way that you raise your level is by your equipment. So like Destiny, you would buy, or find or whatever, a piece of equipment which would give you a light level. Well, this works in a similar way, but it works on different stats. So you've got strength, vitality, luck, and various different other things that you can, have. And each piece of equipment that you equip will have, so many, it'll give you so much more in terms of certain key factors, so that either increases or decreases.
I mean, there's things I've even
power
found
level
that I need to attach as such, there's obviously runes or whatever.
Yeah, your runes give you other extra perks as well.
And magic spells of such a thing that I don't even know yet.
Yeah.
So there's still lots to play in this game. I'm just saying it's going to take a while.
Yeah. Well, what I would do is when you're actually coming to upgrading your equipment is just pay attention to what it's doing to your level. So when you look to either craft or equip a piece of equipment or buy a piece of equipment, it'll show you your current level up in the top right, together with either, just that number, or an arrow pointing up or an arrow pointing down. If it's up, it's green. If it's down, it's red. Pretty self-evident if you don't choose the ones that go down, because obviously, that's going to lower your levels.
We'll have to have a chat one night while I've got it on, go through it a little bit. Say I'm very early on, but
well, I've done a couple of Twitch streams. No, sorry, not Twitch streams, YouTubes of it. So you can actually see me playing a little bit as well.
Yeah, but I don't want to see stuff I've not got to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, pay attention to your equipment and, what your levels are doing. And not only that, when you put on equipment, you can then upgrade it as well. But it'll only upgrade to a couple of levels before it maxes out. And then you've got to get new equipment.
Okay.
So, things that, it'll give you things for cooldown time, which is obviously important for, the cooldown between special moves.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different, ways in which that you can upgrade your equipment. And then later on you get more weapons as well, an extra weapon as well. Which is one that anybody who's played God of War will be familiar with from the past, but I won't leave it there in terms of that.
Yeah, of course.
Because you only start off with an axe on this one. And the axe has quite a neat feature in that it'll freeze things that it hits.
Yeah, mine is at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the puzzles relate to your axe, and that
It's like, you always have to, when you want to get a gate open, you've always got to hit something with your axe to hold the gate open.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit annoying because you shouldn't need to do it every time, but you said that they seem to have thrown that mechanic in.
To be honest, sometimes later on as you get into the game, there's other mechanics that come into play. But your axe does play a lot in terms of solving some of the problems. I'm thinking very much later on when you open up another door. And you'll know what I mean by that point. There's a bit where you've got to use your axe because there's a series of rotating sort of like saw blades going round in a corridor on an axis, and you have to get through. And the only way you can do it is to freeze them to get them all going into sequence. And you've got to do it several times to get them going in order.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant game, fantastic.
Yeah, I like it.
So. We'll give it top marks. If you want to get this game, definitely do.
I think everyone's giving it 10 out of 10 at the moment.
And I don't think that's unfair, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, not at all.
No. So anyway, that's it for this week. We're not going to do movies, TV and streaming this week, just because we've already got a limited amount of time. And
that's dwindling away at the best of times at the moment.
It is. I don't know where it goes. Once we start talking, we start talking for ages, don't we?
And the thing is, we've got the debate to do, and that could be an hour on its own.
I think that we'll need to limit the debate to just some of our favourites, to be honest. We can always come back to it at another time.
Yeah.
But, we'll do a quick bit of tech talk.
From the laboratories of...
Okay, so quick bit of tech talk, not really tech, apart from seating tech, but I wanted to talk about the Mamba Gaming chair. If you're looking for a new chair for, your man cave or whatever, it's quite a nice one to get. It's from Amazon. It was £300. It's now been brought down to 200.
Still looks, that's a lot of money for a chair.
It is, but it's damned comfy. It is very comfortable.
I take your word for that.
So basically on this chair you get two cushions that are removable, one for your back and one for your lumbar support. With the Empire Gaming chair, the idea is that it's to try and improve your posture when you're sitting down all the time, and you can move the cushion because it's on bands up and down to really put it in a position where it supports the base of your back the best, because we're all slightly different, aren't we?
Yeah.
You can adjust the height of the chair or lower it normally, or move the arms back and forth, up and down, or, out and in. So there's lots of different positions that you can have on that as well. And the arms turn in or out depending upon what's most comfortable for you. It offers an adjustable backrest from 90 to 180 degrees, so you can basically lie flat on it. What good that is, I don't know, but there we go. Obviously it's got the adjustment for the height of the seat as well, but it's also got a tilt function with it as well. Didn't know that when I'd actually bought it, but it's always a bonus, because sometimes it's quite nice to just sit back and relax a little bit.
So it's more than a gaming chair. You can just sit and watch a movie in it or something, or
yeah. Well, I mean, I spend a long time in it, so I wanted something that was going to be good, strong, durable, and comfortable.
Yeah, like my chair, you mean?
Yeah, I've seen your good old faithful. Yeah, I've got a similar sort of one. It's got adjustable resilience for the inclination of the angle to fit to your comfort as well. It's equipped with class 4 cylinders, if you're into that sort of information, capable of supporting a weight of up to 150 kilograms. So you could be the size of a bus and you could still sit in this.
That doesn't mean any of you guys out there are the size of a bus, right?
No, you don't. It's not compulsory, but seeing as I am nearly the size of a bus, I'm more like a mini bus. Then it's fine, and obviously it's got the normal sort of 5-star base, but what I have found, even though the casters and that are quite smooth, if you're sitting on the edge of the seat, it is prone to feel like it's about to tip.
Excuse me, I'm just moving forward a bit with my chair there, just so I can get comfortable.
Yeah,
talking about them. Do carry on.
So it is more, more for the seat and your backside well and truly in it. But what I would say is, it's a great quality seat. I mean, it looks like, a sports car bucket sort of seat on the 5-prong pedestal sort of thing.
Has it got wheels on it?
Yeah, got wheels on it as well. Okay. There's wheels on there. But it's great apart from one thing, and that is the the lumbar support. I've ended up taking that off, because what it was doing was it was pushing me forward about 4 inches on the seat.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, instead of having my back on the seat, my back, I had the chair not supporting me up to near the back of my knee, but halfway down my leg, which when you're on long sessions just really wasn't any good, but it unclips easy enough. It's on 2 bands, which you just unclip at the back and then just pull it off. So it's easy to put back on again. And the headrest is similarly detachable. So if you didn't like that, then you can take it off. So for example, when my son uses it, he doesn't like it, so he can take that off and just put his, relax his head on there. But really nice seat, really comfortable. Like I said, it was a birthday present, but I was, looking at seats around about this sort of price. And it just seemed to be quite a good buy. And it's in lots of different colours as well. It's in black and a choice of black, white, red or blue. So I went for the white. So it's a black and white sort of chair. It's got nice stitching in it and everything. And yeah, it looks quite cool. I mean, you've seen a picture of it, haven't you?
Yeah, it does. I think the bucket seat for a rally car would be a good description.
Yeah, but it's comfortable. It keeps you in a good position.
Which you need as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I do feel well supported. I don't feel like it's flimsy in any way. And also, it doesn't sound like a creaky old door like my old seat used to.
I always thought there was you had a vampire living with you, I tell you.
Well, I just had Dracula.
Yeah.
So that's it really. Just to let you know, if you are looking out for a gaming chair, it's just something to have a look out for. And it was on Amazon.
Did you put some pictures on Facebook, didn't you, in the end, I think? Did you?
I did put a picture on Facebook of the chair, yeah. So if you want to have a look on our Facebook group at the chair as well. I might try and post something on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So you're going to talk about your amp and whatever next week, aren't you, Steve?
Yeah, next time that we're back.
Yeah, because we want to get on with the debate. So, without further ado, we'll move on to the big debate.
There was something missing.
All right, so tonight's big debate is about best movie soundtracks. It was kind of voted by you, our listeners, because it came up second in the recent poll that we did. So we decided, well, we've had this one on a couple of times, so we're going to go with this as a debate. So, Steve, you're the audiophile between us, so do you want to kick us off?
There's so many, but as I say, we could be talking for hours as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I thought in my head, I saw your list and thought, yeah, I could agree with those. And I thought, well, let me just have a look at my vinyl collection and see what I can put in there. So I think there's a bit of a theme with some of the composers for these films. And
what you mean, John Williams?
No, not even John Williams. Actually, Danny Elfman. If I just put these in sort of some sort of order. You've got John Williams, James Horner, Jerry Goldsmith, Danny Elfman, John Carpenter, Hans Zimmer. They all spring to mind, and I think where most people might not know who some of these guys are, they've been going around for some time.
Well, I think a lot of people know who John Carpenter is. Yeah,
because as I say, him and Alan Howarth, who he had an association with for Escape from New York, which is a fantastic soundtrack.
I have to admit that was one I missed off my list. That I thought, as soon as I read it on your list, I thought, yes, because I love that soundtrack.
Excuse me, because I thought, actually, as much as we've got very similar tastes anyway, it just you can't think of everything, can you?
No, and some of the ones that I've come out with are quite a bit different to your taste in some of the music, because I think on a lot of your ones you've gone for ones that are more specifically composed for the movie.
Yeah, they're more the original soundtrack.
Yeah, whereas I've gone for ones that have had maybe songs that have been wrote for them, but a bit more contemporary.
Yeah, but funny you should say that. I do own most of them anyway.
What, the ones I've put down?
Excuse me. I mean, Highlander, obviously, It's a Kind of Magic is the album.
Yeah, and that because it's never been released as an actual soundtrack.
No, even though I don't know how I got hold of it. I do have the score as well on a digital file.
Right, okay.
Which whether that was taken from someone doing a rip of the film, I don't know.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, which is a Queen album again.
Yeah, absolutely, and brilliant.
Which is and it's what's good about that album there is that they do put incidental bits of dialogue from the film in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Flash Gordon themes, Colitis, I'm bored. What plaything have you got for me today?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, do you know what? Sometimes I could just listen to an actual soundtrack.
Yeah.
And let's pick one out at random for a minute. Terminator and Terminator 2 by Brad Friedel. There's some great music in that, and especially the theme for the second movie. I think they sort of stick with you forever, those sort of themes.
Can I be honest? I don't really remember the theme tune from those two. I know that sounds awful, but I just don't.
No. Again, this is horses for courses.
Yeah.
And why on earth didn't you have Raiders of the Lost Ark in your list? I do not know.
I don't know really, but then again, why didn't you have any Bond movies in your list?
Actually, because I looked at your list when I did this morning, I was actually listening to some soundtracks while compiling my list.
Yeah.
And I do have a big chunk of vinyl. I've got The Spy Love Me. I've got Live and Let Die, Living Daylights, Goldfinger.
Yeah.
I've got all them on vinyl. So I thought I won't add them in anyway, but I do like my John Barry collection for that. His soundtracks, they were sort of special to me as a kid.
Yeah.
And as much as the Bond theme changes every so slightly every time a film comes out, I think the time at Live and Let Die and Man with a Golden Gun, they were a peak for me for John Barry, as much as I did like the older ones with Goldfinger, and so on and so forth from there, really.
Well, things like Goldfinger are absolute classics, but I mean, for me, I listed the two ones, the two Bond movies that I thought had my favourite songs on, and that is, The Spy Who Loved Me, which also happens to be my favourite Bond movie.
I know that. That's why I posted. Did I post a picture of the album I got? I
can't remember. But, the Nobody Does It Better.
Yeah.
Song.
Carly Simon.
Yeah, Carly Simon. I love that song. Absolutely love it. And I think it just set off the film so brilliantly. But also Casino Royale with Nobody Knows Your Name.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that coming out.
Yeah, I absolutely love that one. That is my second favourite. Live and Let Die with Paul McCartney.
And Wings.
Yeah. Paul McCartney, he gives you wings.
So does Red Bull, but yeah, no, yeah, no. I mean, we could have a debate on Bond movies for the soundtracks alone if we ever decided to do one.
Yeah. And also, Living Daylights. I remember watching a TV programme that had one-hit wonders. And the whole thing of the show was, these are one-hit wonders where they've released one song and have never released anything else. Well, and I said, aha, with Take On Me. So we forgot about The Sun Always Shines on TV, The Living Daylights, and everything else that they've done. And they're still going.
Yeah, who said that then?
It was on one of the music channels.
Was it really?
It was. Was it MTV? I think it was. It was either MTV or VH1, because they're the only ones that I ever watched.
Yeah. I think just a quick more about Bond movies. I think the highlight of any artist's career in music is to get the call to say, we want you to do the Bond theme.
Yeah.
And I think Adele's done it twice. Did she or didn't she? I'm trying to think now. Off the top of my head.
Don't know. To be honest, I've lost it a little bit on the Bond movies since Daniel Craig's taken over, because I just don't like him as Bond. After thinking I would love him as Bond.
Yeah. But I think if you go back to listening to the old classic, if you listen to Goldfinger and You Only Live Twice, they're just brilliant. And that feels like those movies were in the 60s. It still keeps them there.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I think is really interesting is the fact that Dr. No, the first Bond movie, had a very distinctive sound and soundtrack, but that was kind of by accident, and you didn't get the Bond theme coming in until later.
Well, the Bond theme is at the beginning of the film in Dr. No. It is actually the opening part of the film.
But it wasn't really, I don't think it was like fully adopted in that film, though, was it?
It was used I don't think it wasn't like where you get some incidental music in a car chase and you'll start to play the Bond theme or whatever. Yeah. In Dr. No, I think that didn't happen, but it was just used as the main title theme at the time. Yeah,
but that's what I mean. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't so closely associated. It's like now when you start going dun 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 dun, somebody immediately knows you're referring to Bond. Whereas I don't think it had that kind of identity, and it just doesn't come through in the film. But it had a lot of the music of the time in that movie. But it does really age it at the same time.
Where you had Sean Connery singing Underneath the Mango Tree, for example.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, yeah. Just looking through my list there, because some of these are 80s movies.
Should we talk about the treks? Because I was just thinking, because you've chosen a different Star Trek to me.
Yeah, I did. As much as I did play half the album, when I was doing this list and I saw your list, I did put Star Trek the Motion Picture on for half an hour.
Yeah.
While I was going through my list. And it is a great soundtrack because really Next Gen pulled the main theme from that.
Yes.
And it sort of stuck from there onwards for a while, didn't it?
That was the Next Generation theme.
And it sort of carried on, and they carried on into the movies a bit as well. So I'm forgetting Star Trek 2 for the minute.
Yeah.
And Star Trek 3 and Star Trek 4. I think Star Trek 5 actually used that same theme. And obviously it's all changed again now, but yeah. It's a great soundtrack.
See, I put the motion picture down because of the Klingon tune. When they were opening up the opening scene.
Yeah.
And the Klingons are approaching Vija.
That's right, yeah, and they get melted, I think is a polite word.
Yeah, and it's that clicky music that's going on.
With that with all that instrumental that's going on there with, as you say, with the click and that. One of my kids hated that bit of tune.
Oh, I loved it.
I'd play it really loud in the car and it would freak her out, something rotten. So therefore I put it louder, obviously.
Yeah, because psychological scarring is a parent's duty.
It is, isn't it? And, but no, that became the Klingon theme from there onwards for a while as well.
It did. And I think in terms of that film, because really Star Trek the Motion Picture was originally meant to be Star Trek Phase 2, the first episode, which was supposed to be the relaunch of the TV series. And I saw what happened with Star Wars, and then they're going, I think we need to make a movie. Let's do Star Trek, and we'll just take this hour-long TV episode and make it 2 hours. And they had to fill it with something, and what they filled it with was special effects and music.
Yeah.
And, that carried that film right the way through, but it was also very expressive, and I think in terms of the Klingons, that you said your daughter hated it because it made it, it felt quite oppressive or what to her. Well, that's kind of the Klingon way, isn't it?
It is, but it had that, I can't explain now, but it had that it was defining for the time. And Jerry Goldsmith is a great composer.
Yeah.
And he did Poltergeist as well, for example.
Yeah.
Which I love that soundtrack. And it's just how some of these guys that bring music to film, how it incorporates and gives that film an atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works every time. Excuse me.
As long as you get the music right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for me, I said this. I was talking to Glenn. I was talking about these new headphones, and I can put a soundtrack on, immerse myself with those headphones, and I can watch the film in my head. Do you know what I mean?
But that links to the way that we recall things, because smells and sounds are good ways of pulling memories back, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and for me, for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, I just edged it forward a bit more because it was my favourite Star Trek movie, and also, I think always will be.
Yeah.
And because I've seen it so many times, and I know the score so many times, it's like it's something that just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And for now, getting the expanded album, which I'll be getting in 3 weeks when that comes in the post, and there's score there that I've not heard unless I've actually watched the movie because it's not been released. I can't wait for that, because that to me I just love it. And there's a lot more out there now of expanded soundtracks.
Yes. Yeah, there is.
And the Jaws one, for example, God, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I was listening to that this morning as well while I was putting this list together, and the bass and the apprehension of this shark coming up to you in when you listen to this music is incredible. And I think John Williams, hats off to the guy, because I think if it wasn't for him, everything else we've had after wouldn't follow.
No, well, I mean, I've heard people liken John Williams to like the Beethoven of modern day era. And I think he is. And I think one of the things that's probably a shame is he's known as a classical music composer for movies, but just because it's made for a movie shouldn't diminish the quality of the fact that it's classical music.
I don't think it does, because if you go to Classic FM, for example, in conjunction with him and John Williams, they're releasing a new album out of a lot of his famous work. So you got Star Wars, Jurassic Park, E.T., so on and so forth. And seeing that on Facebook, everyone's clamouring for that CD.
Yeah.
But I boo-hooed it because where's the vinyl then, please? Excuse me, because they're not releasing it on vinyl yet, just on CD. But no, it's the same. Hans Zimmer as well. You listen to Blade Runner 2049. Wow, that packs a punch. And
also, it's so in keeping with Vangelis's score as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you didn't know, you would think it was by the same artist.
Yeah.
Because it keeps that feel, but it modernises it.
It's funny, because I don't know if you notice this. So, for example, when you watched Ready Player One...
Yeah.
Did you hear that little hint of Back to the Future that was thrown in there?
Yeah, and Batman.
But more the Back to the Future, because it was done by the same guy that did it was Alan Silvestri. He threw that just a tweak of music from Back to the Future soundtrack in there.
Yeah.
If you weren't paying attention, you might have missed it.
But, I mean, the classical bits of the Back to the Future soundtracks, I think, didn't I list those as well?
Yeah.
You know, the actual score for Back to the Future is a fantastic thing. But for me, because as soon as you listen to the Back to the Future theme tune, you know it's that movie. But also right down to, you know, The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah.
As well, you know, and John, you know, the recording of Johnny B. Good, which is actually a really good version of the song that's on that soundtrack as well.
Mm. Yeah, all the songs that were used in the prom night section of the movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they were all very good.
Absolutely.
Even the last one, which when you're egging on, go and kiss her for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They're just you know, outstanding. I think I always can tell a James Horner movie, and where I don't know actually about it. So Aliens, for example, maybe not Commando or Brainstorm, but Aliens, and there was a couple of other. His music does sound familiar, and there are like. They all blend into each other to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they have a style, and for better for worse, I might say that sounds like Aliens. That might sound like something. That might sound like Star Trek too. Mm. It's just the way he comes across. You know.
I think that's why I prefer John Williams, because he can make things sound completely different. Mm. You know, to other work like Jewel of Fate.
Yeah.
You know,
Star Wars Episode 3.
Episode 1.
Oh, I thought it was Episode 3, but go on, carry on.
No, it's Episode 1 because it's the one that they do for Darth Maul fighting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. Mm. But that is so different to the rest of the Star Wars score, it stands out. But then you actually listen, and this is where some of the conspiracy theories come in. The music that is played at the bit where Palpatine is talking to Anakin and talking about Darth Plagueis the Wise is very similar music to the music that refers to Snoke on The Force Awakens, which is why a lot of the conspiracies were thinking pre the criminal Jerry Ryan, you know, doing the episode 8, that Snoke was going to be Darth Plagueis, which I think would have been a good way of doing it. But they've obviously gone in a completely different direction because, well, that's what the fans wanted.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think Michael Giacchino did the film in between 3 and 4, Rogue One. But do you notice it's not John Williams or not? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I knew it wasn't John Williams, but it's hard to know if I hadn't have heard it, would I have known it wasn't John Williams? I think he did a good job.
Do you know why I like Michael Giacchino?
Why?
Because I haven't got it on my list here, but I know he's harking back to something we love, but he did so well with the Star Trek scores. In the reboot, because I was worried about that when Star Trek was announced, and I was seeing that the composer, I thought, I don't know too much about him, but it's a good score. You know, he gave it its own theme, but obviously they used the original Star Trek theme and put it in there as well at the end, but giving them their own independent theme in this universe, I think it was brilliant. Yeah, you know, definitely. I mean, someone else that springs to mind, because Gav Cooper was on about it on Twitter earlier, and I tweeted out about tonight. Rocky. Yes. Now, I know I don't know how much of a fan you are of those movies, or you're this sport, so it might not be too much for yourself. No, I like the Rocky movies. It's been a while since I watched them, but I like them. It's never too long. And those soundtracks are class, and they give you that feeling of getting behind the competitor, and the boxer. Do you know what I mean? Where, for example, Sherlock. If you remember the film Sherlock Holmes, yes, I'm talking about the first one with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, Hans Zimmer's take on the theme for Sherlock Holmes makes you feel like you're in that era. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's so clever.
It is.
I think so. Danny Elfman, the Batman theme. Now, how wouldn't you not thought that one would stick for so long? And it's even used in the Lego Batman. So, not whether people know this, Danny Elfman did the Fable theme.
And he did Darkman as well, didn't he?
Yeah, which is one of my recent acquisitions, which I watched the other night, actually. And if you've never seen Darkman, I know it's an 80s movie, and it's Liam Neeson, by the way. Excellent film.
It's been years since I've seen that.
It's a superhero movie in a way, though, isn't it?
Well, it's graphic novel based.
Yeah, but the idea of Darkman is actually he's some sort of superhero, but he isn't.
Yeah,
and it's a great film.
Absolutely
really good. You know,
another one that I like is I think it's a little bit sort of Vangelis-ish, is The Big Blue by Eric Serra.
Oh, okay.
Didn't he also do Fifth Element?
Oh, The Fifth Element?
Yeah, the score for that. I can't remember.
I'm not sure. If you're Googling it, you can just help me out there.
Eric Serra, yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And the Big Blue's really nice, relaxing sort of soundtrack to listen to, and a lot of the music, because it's mostly instrumental, a lot of the music is sort of like whale song inspired, and there'll be whale song mixed in with the rest of the music.
Excuse me, Star Trek 4 just come to mind then when you're saying that.
Yeah, but no, this is much more of a serious sort of movie than Star Trek 4, which is more like...
No, I'm just thinking the whale music, because there's a good bit of whale music with that, and on the Star Trek 4 album, but go on, carry on.
Yeah, but really nice, chill out, relaxing music for most of that album. Really enjoy that one. We haven't mentioned as well, obviously because we're doing motion picture soundtracks, is what about musicals? Because obviously they've still got soundtracks, and
with the one you've got there, because I love Little Shop of Horrors, for example.
Yeah.
And I do have, actually, that one is sitting in my collection behind me in gatefold, and I love that soundtrack. Really good.
Yeah.
Along with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And they are, say, what we class various artists, aren't they?
Yeah, and I must admit, in terms of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I know every song word for word. My favourite one is Sweet Transvestite. You do get some funny looks when you're singing that at the top of your lungs when you sat in a traffic jam in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I bet you get a good look on that, don't you?
Yeah, and I have been known at one or two, barbecues after a little bit to drink when I was younger to, burst into song singing Suddenly Seymour from The Little Shop of Horrors.
That is just, that is such a good movie.
It is. Feed me, Seymour, feed me now.
It's very... Being obviously this was a musical first.
Yeah.
I just find that I haven't watched it in a long time. I need to. Have I got it on? I don't think I actually own it physically anymore.
No.
I need to probably pick up a copy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. I mean, another one. Sorry, go on.
I was just you, Karen. You say what you're saying. So I was going to button in here. Go on, Karen.
I was going to say, obviously, there's. As well as those films, and other type of film that we haven't done is one where they are using contemporary music, like the absolutely fantastic soundtracks for Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah,
because they are. I mean, I listen to those all of the time. Those two soundtracks, because I absolutely love them.
So because I only got excuse me, I've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But mine's a double album.
Ah, right. Okay, I've only got the single one.
So
you've got the orchestral music and
it's got both. It's like a deluxe album, they call it.
Yeah, I looked at the deluxe album, but I ended up not getting that one. I wasn't that bothered about the other soundtrack. The heavier score. I just wanted the. Oh yeah,
because there's one track called "Let's Get You, You A-holes." That's the very beginning of that fight sequence.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. But again, very, very well chosen songs from other artists.
Oh, they were just absolutely perfectly picked. I mean, when you look at the first movie, "Hooked on a Feeling" by Blue Swede.
Yeah,
absolutely. Fantastic. But what was the one that wasn't? "Come and Get Your Love" by Redbone as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
And it's funny. When I was watching the second film, and the missus there, Mr. Blue Sky always works every time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that tune. Absolutely.
So what else? You got the wedding singer there.
Yeah, well, that's very 80s sort of inspired soundtracks as well. There's a bit of everything on there.
Yeah, because it's, I think, if I remember rightly, because you got like White Wedding from Billy Idol.
Yes.
And there's a Culture Club track in there, if I remember rightly.
Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
And Spandau Ballet as well, even though you got them singing them in this one, though.
Yeah, you've got White Wedding from Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. You've got Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic by The Police.
Yeah. Excuse me.
How Soon Is Now by The Smiths.
Yeah.
There's loads of songs on there, but it's such a good...
there's one by Adam Sandler in there as well.
Yeah, there is. Somebody Kill Me.
Yeah. Which it does make me laugh. I do like that movie. Sorry, some people might not like Adam Sandler, but I have a soft spot for him.
To be honest, I like him as well. I think he's a good. He's all right. I don't have any problem with him at all.
There's one soundtrack you haven't got there, which I want to mention, as in for various artists, and that is Beverly Hills Cop 1.
Yes, that's another good one with Axel F.
Yeah, and you got the Pointer Sisters.
Yeah, as
well. I played some of that this morning as well, funnily enough. And you just forget how some good tracks you've got on those sort of soundtracks.
Mm.
But then again, I wouldn't want to play the first track off of Pulp Fiction in front of your mum.
No, probably not.
Because it does have that incidental start when they're in the cafe and they kiss each other. He said, "I love you, honey bun," and then they come out with all that language.
God, yeah. No, that's quite funny. But there's another one as well. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Some of the music that was on there, that was really good.
Was that various artists as well? Come on.
Yeah, it was various artists.
Mm.
But that was really good. Soundtrack, enjoyed that, and Kill Bill as well. Tarantino did a good job on both films, but I think particularly on Kill Bill Volume 1.
Well, because you had the what was the track by the that was I can't think now. Can't think the girl's name. The little girls band.
Little girl band on Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll tell you because I've got that digital. If I just scroll down, if I can find it, let's have a look. Kill Bill. I've got Kill Bill Volume on both here. So I'm on about which track. Well, one track was Bang Bang. Bang, yeah. Bang, Bang, Baby. Yep. My Baby Shot Me Down. And the other one was by the Woohoos. That was it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Class. Really good track.
Yeah, there was some good, there's some good songs on that piece, that film.
And even the theme from Ironside, if you remember rightly.
Wasn't it? I'd forgotten that. It was just an excerpt of the film, though.
It is. It's very, very small.
And another thing that we've not mentioned, and they're very renowned for it, is Disney movies. Now, to me, my favourite one is The Lion King. The whole of the album. Because, it has that, ba 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 sort of one, piece of music that the film.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah,
that's on there. But also the soundtrack by Elton John, because it's I Can't Wait to Be King, Hakuna Matata, which is just quite a nice fun song. It's kind of like the 90s version of Bare Necessities, I always think.
Oh well. It's funny, yeah, because just thinking back to those Disney ones as a kid, even actually Lady and the Tramp, We Are Siamese, If You Please, for example, which was class. And then remember Phil Collins did Strangers Like Me in Tarzan. Yeah. So they've had a few artists recognised one, should we say.
Yeah. I tell you what else, I also like the theme tune for Aladdin as well, that soundtrack. That was a really good one. A lot of good songs on there. But, they're all the very much kind of like happy sort of things. The complete opposite, coming out of Disney again, but looking at the movie Dune with the soundtrack by Toto.
Yeah. I haven't heard that.
No, I've actually got that on CD. Great track. The music's quite oppressive. It's quite heavy going, but it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, excuse me, just having a scroll through my digital collection. Hot Fuzz was quite a good soundtrack, actually, because that was a various artist one, with the Simon Pegg film with, I think XTC and Adam and the Ants were in there, people like that, if I remember rightly. That was quite a good one. You've mentioned Bond. Actually, Mission Impossible.
Well, that's a classic tune in itself, isn't it?
Because that has changed over the years, to be honest, on the way that's been coming across. But very bassy type of track, which I think has been put on many people's phones for their ringtones, And I'm trying to think what else. Actually, The Last Starfighter is a good soundtrack.
Yes.
Very trying to take on a way of John Williams in that sort of style. So. Oh, there's quite a few. Even some of the horror films. I know you're not really a horror fan, but
Tubular Bells,
stuff like The Omen, which was sneaked into The Exorcist for about 20 seconds. Another good various artist albums, Armageddon with Aerosmith, ZZ Top, Bon Jovi, some class tracks in that.
I'll tell you one that's is quite a good one. It's got the guy off Starship Troopers and How I Met Your Mother. Do you know the one I mean? I forgot what his name is. But it's also got Nathan Fallon on from Serenity, and from that movie, and a TV show that went with it, and also the ginger-haired woman from the Guild is Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking
that's
about.
really good. Quite enjoy that. As a theme, as a thing. But there's some really music is so important to whatever film that you're actually watching, and getting it right is so essential.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because as much as you had Danny Elfman doing the Batman soundtrack,
you had Prince doing the rest.
Yeah, and he had an album out for that as well, and then we had a time in the 80s where we had quite a few war movies, so various artists would be songs from that era.
Well, look at the music from Good Morning Vietnam.
That's exactly what I'm looking at the minute on my Discogs library, actually. So, because you had Martha and the Vandellas, you got the Beach Boys, but also what was clever about that soundtrack, have you heard it?
Which one? Yes, I've got it.
Good Morning Vietnam. So, in between each song from the 60s, they threw in some Robin Williams
parts
from the film, didn't they?
And because I got really that clever back in the day when I used to mix tapes, and when you always used to have that 20 or 30 seconds at the end of a tape, I used to throw one of those in. That's what I used to do. Another one I loved as well was Austin Powers. That one, because it had BBC by Ming T on that one. Obviously the Austin Powers theme tune, which is fantastic anyway. But there's a few good ones on there.
How about Ray Parker Jr.?
What?
Come on.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Well, that's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah, that did very well. Love It or Hate It, the Grease album made a lot of money.
That's true.
And
my wife went into HMV the other day to get the Grease album, and when she found it, she went, "You're the one that I want."
I'm going to tell her that. You wait.
She can hear it. She's only in the next room.
She will shoot you down. Yeah. When I picked up for Record Store Day, was the soundtrack to Sucker Punch.
I saw you playing that. Yeah, I saw your pictures of that.
That is a class album, because actually the actress that plays Baby Doll did some of the songs herself, Emily Browning, and that album. We ever talk about Zack Snyder in a long-term relationship? He's had his ups and downs, that director, hasn't he? But I still like that film. I still think, it's got a, if you want to just watch action scenes, you can get away with it.
I'll tell you another good album as well, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's got Shout It Out by Slaughter,
Yeah.
Battle Stations by Winger, God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too by Kiss. I love that track as well.
Absolutely
The
brilliant.
Perfect Crime by Faith No More, Go to Hell by Megadeth.
Excuse me, yeah.
Brilliant album. And another one, I mean, quite tragic about how she ended up, was The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston.
Yeah, because that song, Alan, was that number 1 for? Jesus, I can't remember. That was just ridiculous.
A long time. But there's been, you know, a lot of the chick flick sort of movies tend to have good soundtracks as well, like Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, because they sort of got, I mean, not that a lot of guys would, but they've got a lot of songs that are sort of for everyone, haven't they? I do own them both all anyway, so I think I've got about 3 of those CDs.
Like Dirty Dancing as well. I mean, God, how many versions of that is there?
I've got the special edition.
Yeah.
I got it for the missus. But, yeah, again, that was great because it had like 60s vibe, so you had all those songs from the 60s in there.
And then for, you know, more my kind of area, sure, Sheffield, which is not too far from me, the full Monty soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Hot
remember
Stuff
what was in
by
there now. I know there was the
You Sexy Thing by Hot Chocolate. Moving On Up by M People.
Yeah.
We Are Family by Sister Sledge.
God, yeah. Can't remember those.
But, yeah, that was good. The Italian Job as well.
I
have that on CD as well, funnily enough.
It's, I mean, as much as we love the track that they were singing when they're doing the mini sequence, there's some great instrumental music there that you can just think about when you're driving your Ferrari around Italy.
God, yeah.
Excuse me. So, yeah, I could probably think there's loads more I could think about.
Well, I mean, there's also Moulin Rouge with Nature Boy.
Yeah, that wasn't my.
I really liked that. I enjoyed it a great deal. I liked the film and I liked the soundtrack to it as well.
Oh, okay. I won't hold that against you.
It's all right for a cheeky sort of flick. To be honest, it was mainly the music. Well, that and Nicole Kidman. Something about redheads. Although she's blonde.
Oh, we won't. We won't mention that to the missus.
She'll probably be able to hear anyway.
So yes, the Alien movies are pretty cool. They were very atmospheric. So were the Terminator movies. The Commitments. Do you remember them? That
was with Kylie Minogue, wasn't it? No, sorry. No, what am I?
No, you're thinking of something completely different. I don't know, but when I'm looking at the Commitments album, she's not in.
Was she in the movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You have to Google that one, I think. There's one that actually none of us have mentioned, which is a classic album and great songs from the, I suppose, 70s, and that was the Blues Brothers album.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, I think I still do listen to that Rawhide version that's on there.
Oh, I've sang it a few times myself.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And the second album as well, which it's still all right. Blues Brothers 2000.
It wasn't as good though, was it?
No, it was. I think the first one was one of a kind. To be honest, that just really stood out for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a few 60s. Planet of the Apes. Jerry Goldsmith, I think it was.
He's been around a lot, hasn't he, Jerry Goldsmith? Because he also did the theme tune for Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's they're all getting on a bit now. Some of these composers.
Soon he'll be decomposing.
Oh, God. That is dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
I'm sorry.
Should we call that time now? I think after that.
Yeah, that's what you call it when a composer retires, a decompose.
Yeah. Well, actually, was it Monty Python did a song called "The Decomposing Composer"? If I remember rightly. Do you remember that? And they're talking about all these different composers like Beethoven and Mozart that bit the dust. Very, very clever song. So they beat you to it on that one.
By a number of years as well. It's really annoying me. I can't think of what that. Anyhow. Oh, wasn't it the Delinquents I was thinking of? That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, completely getting my things mixed up there. Never mind.
Should we move on to
we'll move on to the listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so listener questions. And as normal, Mark is kicking us off with his question of, does playing a new release ever make you want to go back to an older and maybe unrelated games by the same developer?
Don't know. I still do that sometimes. Even games that I've played before, that if I might play Fallout 4, I might want to look at Fallout 3. You know, they're probably the wrong type of game to talk to you about, but Bioshock as well, you know. I think you just like to dip back in and just remember that memory for 20 minutes, then you walk away.
I think if you've really enjoyed a game and it's by a developer maybe who you haven't tried before, I think it's an extra thing of thinking, oh, they've also done so-and-so, I'll try that. But, I mean, for me, the nearest I've come to this sort of thing and that I can think of is actually Bioshock. Because I started playing Bioshock and I just didn't get on with it. I just don't think I got the game at the time. And then Bioshock 2 came out and, you know, being caught in at the hype, I bought it and I completely enjoyed it. And when I completed that game, I went back and completed Bioshock. So, but I would never have gone back to Bioshock had I not completed Bioshock 2. Because I know what I'm like. So, I think it can happen, but I think more, sometimes I do go and think, oh, I've got a game from them, what other ones have they done? Had a look and thought, oh, I might try that one. So, yeah, I think it does happen, but not very often.
Yeah. Question 2, shall I go to? So what's been your biggest gaming turkey in the last decade?
Am I answering this or are you?
Go on, you answer it. I know what you're going to say,
Cuphead.
But go on.
Really?
Really?
I thought it was utter tripe.
Just wasn't a cup of tea.
I hated the game. I just thought it was tripe. I really, really despised that game with a passion. And not because it was hard, that doesn't bother me. The graphic style was fantastic, but I didn't like the graphic style because I was never a big fan of the 50s cartoons. And it was a game that was bereft of gameplay. So what was yours?
Well, mine, I don't think it's even out yet.
Steve, how can it be your biggest game in Turkey of the last decade if you've not played it? Unless, of course, you're going to say Crackdown 3.
I have played it. That's what I have played it. And that's We Happy for You.
Well, you haven't played the final product.
Well, it's coming out. It's supposed to be
have you been back to it about how they've updated it?
Yes, and I'm not happy with
what have they done to it?
Well, I don't like that type of survival. Don't like the game mechanics very well, you know? It's, you know, you gotta eat, drink, sleep, and all this malarkey. I just don't, you know, if it was story-based in a different way, like the way Bioshock and all those were, but I was duped into thinking it was something which it wasn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You feel like you've been missold it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I only paid a few quid for it at the end of the day, but, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I'll try, off the top of my head, I can't think of another game that I own that is a bit of a turkey, but that one just springs to mind, to be honest.
Right, okay. All right, well, in that case, then we'll go on to Neil McBain. Do you like board games? And if so, what's your favourite?
Well, what do I play the most? With the family, we do actually get Monopoly out every year. We do play it at some point. But there are games coming out now that I'd like to play. But I'd like to play the ones that are single player, which they do exist. I've seen a 2 to 4 game of The Thing from the movie. I'd love to. I mean, I don't think I can get people that I know to play these games. I don't know if they would or not. I'd love to try it. There's a Fallout 4 board game. And what else is there? Well, I have played a few Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. And another one on that vein was Talisman, which I loved playing that. And I've had good 2 days playing just the one board game, you know, beering up, playing it all day long, going to bed and, or even maybe it's not necessarily going to bed, but playing it through a whole weekend. What about yourself? Do you get involved in any?
No.
Like Ticket to Ride, for example, maybe?
To be honest,
or something like that?
I don't play any board games at all nowadays. My son's...
Don't tell me you get bored.
I wasn't going to make such an obvious joke.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't want to bore everybody else. No, I used to be big on board games. I mean, going back to when I was at school, this will probably not surprise you or the listeners to know I was in a Dungeons and Dragons club at lunchtime, and we used to play D&D on a lunch hour, and I was a wizard, always on them. But other than that, I used to play a lot of Monopoly, which I think, it's kind of like a bit of a rite of passage in this country, isn't it, that you play Monopoly?
Well, there's that. It's Monopoly, Cluedo. I used to play Mousetrap.
I do. I've played Mousetrap twice in my life, and I've never played Cluedo. So it just wasn't one that we've had. I would like to get into, board games, but the ones that would appeal to me wouldn't appeal to the people who I would naturally play the games with, i.e. my son and my wife. My wife would have no interest, and my son wouldn't be bothered about the ones that I wanted to play. So, end up not. But I would quite like to try the Star Wars and Star Trek battle ones, with the ships and stuff like that. I would love to get into D&D again, but it's been so many years, I can't remember how to play it. All I remember is that you had a 20-sided dice. But no, I loved playing board games back in the day, but it's just something that's escaped me. I do know someone who I used to work with, well, matter of fact, a group of people I used to work with who meet regularly to play board games. They have actually sort of like ditched video gaming to do board games. Yeah.
Well, I'm just actually, because I was talking to Glyn about this the other day, and I think I might actually purchase this at some point. The Fallout board game is a 1-player to 4-player experience, so you can play it on your own.
Would you want to? It's a board game. No.
Why not?
No, I wouldn't.
And it's on Amazon. I'm looking now. I can see it in my basket.
For delivery tomorrow.
Oh, I might ask someone for birthday. I could ask someone for birthday that even.
Yeah.
Ooh, could do, couldn't I? But I mean, it's something different. You could just set that up. Even if you don't go back to it, if you just do an hour of it and you haven't finished, you've got it all set up on your table and just go in there and try and play on it. For example, that board game is that's not too bad. It's a 2 to 3 hour game.
That's not too bad. I mean, there's a lot of creativity in board games nowadays. Or
there is a BioShock one as well.
There's loads of different franchises, to be honest. But there's ones that you can go online and you can print them off, free ones as well. Just print them off, play them once, sort of thing. So it doesn't.
I used to have a Star Trek one as well, actually, which was fighting Klingons.
I used to have Star Wars Death Star, where you used to have to go to the main reactor, switch off the tractor beam, and then get back to the Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
Class.
I used to play that as a kid.
Yeah.
But board games are such a big thing, especially nowadays. There's been a real revival. And when you look at a lot of the gaming conventions now, they have a corner. One corner's, people getting dressed up in cosplay, and the other corner's D&D, and the rest of the place is, video games.
Yeah.
Certainly that's how EGX was the last time that we went, wasn't it? And it was also the same with Insomnia. They were set up pretty similar. Yeah. But they're both big areas of the industry now.
There is there's a Witcher adventure game, Fantasy Flight, for example, Eldritch Horror Books. There is really plenty out there if you just fancy, coming away and just doing something different.
The problem is with such a massive pile of shame of video games, I haven't got time to play a board game. I need to catch up on the other stuff.
Well, look at this, the Fallout one, right? Excuse me. So you shape the narrative of your character, play 4 scenarios, the capital wastelands, the pit, the Commonwealth, and Far Harbor. Quest, kill, drift, and chill, experience a darn lot. Come on. That sells it.
Yeah, you've already bought it, haven't you? Be honest, you've clicked buy now.
It's in my wish list for now. Add to list. I'm going to do that because I'm going to say, if anyone says what they want to get me, well, you can
it's on my wish list.
Anyway, do you want to go and do Craig's?
Right, okay, so Craig Cole has asked, who is your favourite Charlie's Angel?
And I agree with him, absolutely.
Chris Monroe.
Cheryl Ladd, but I think... Yeah. No.
Cheryl Ladd, Chris Monroe.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's a name, yeah. Do you think a lot of people would have gone for Farrah Fawcett?
I would have gone for Jacqueline Smith. Or, if we're referring to the new ones, Drew Barrymore.
I like a bit of Drew.
I think Drew Barrymore would probably be a bit more my age.
Well, no.
Well, Jacqueline Smith's 72.
Bless her.
Yeah.
In a wheelchair.
There's also Kate Jackson as well. She was Sabrina.
I weren't too keen on Kate Jackson. She came across as just...
Tanya Roberts.
Yeah, she was in the Bond movie with Roger Moore.
Shelley Hack. She was Tiffany Wells. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So there's been a few, hasn't there? And of course, who was Charlie? Well, other than John Forsyth or Blake Carrington, depending upon your point of view.
Well, I tell you, we will never, that question will go with us to the...
Yeah. He did appear on a couple of the episodes, but he was always playing a very minor bit part, and it was only afterwards.
But it was like the back. It was like the back to him, and you say, "Oh, was that Charlie?"
And bearing in mind this was pre-VCR, so if you didn't pick it up, you didn't know who it was, other than his voice.
Yeah. True.
Okay, so you want to do Nicky Wilson?
Yeah. So Nicky Wilson says, "What's your best movie trilogy of all time?" And he's mentioned Back to the Future, and this is a hard question.
Yeah, it is.
But a trilogy comes in 3. So come on.
Well, it's got to be Star Wars, hasn't it? The original trilogy, yeah.
What, 4, 5, and 6?
Well, it ain't going to be 7, 8, and 9, that's for sure. Unless they reshoot 8 with a completely different script and a different director.
Yeah.
But you can't say Indiana Jones, because that's a quadrilogy.
There isn't many trilogies out there, is there?
Well, I suppose technically speaking, Star Wars isn't really a trilogy, is it?
I mean, I would have maybe plumbed for maybe Aliens or something, maybe.
Yeah. Should we just say best movie series rather than trilogy? Because trilogy is limited.
There's too. Yeah, there is too many. I know what he. I think Nicky would give us the benefit of the doubt here on that one. It's not easy to just come out with one. I'm just going to plumb for now, for today. I'm going to plumb with the Alien series.
Would you say that the Alien series has been the most influential on your life? Or would you say Star Wars has had a bigger influence?
Star Wars hasn't really, I don't think. But it's for you, though.
You don't think Star Wars... I think Star Wars has had... Well, for me, it has had a big influence over time.
I mean, maybe Star Trek for me, if we're going to go down that route.
Well, Star Trek equally for me as well.
But I mean, Aliens, I watched Alien Covenant the other night. Thoroughly
I did as well. It was a good movie.
I was expecting it to be bad, but actually I was very surprised. And being this is a prequel still. Very good. Very good film.
Did you watch it in 4K?
Yeah.
All right, okay, I've got the Blu-ray.
Yeah, so that was in UHD or whatever you want to call it on Sky. But yeah, really good film as well. I loved it. Had some of that music in it still as well, which made my little hairs and the back of my neck go up at the time.
It got panned though, didn't it?
I don't know why.
No, neither do I. I thought
I kept saying to Mrs. And I was on about the alien.
Yeah.
The android.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sure they've swapped somehow. I was positive on it. She said, no. I said, it is. I could feel it in my waters.
Yeah. Well, it was. I think it was probably a pretty obvious plot point anyway.
Well, he'd have to melted his arm off for starters.
Yeah.
He'd have to got one of the aliens to do that as well. But it was still a really good film. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it as well. But I mean, we could have chosen Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. They're other trilogies.
Even Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. So there are other trilogies out there. But
your turn?
My turn. Okay, Paul Wilson. What is your biggest tech purchase, regret, or item you desperately wanted and received as a gift? It doesn't have to be a recent edition. And did you keep it, flog it, or give it away?
I can't think of one, to be honest.
Biggest tech purchase regret.
I tell you, I'll tell you what I'm going to put out there. HD DVD.
What, for the Xbox? Yeah, I had one of those as well. That was, it was a shame because it was a good format. There's nothing the matter with it.
Oh, yeah.
It was just not quite as good as a superior Blu-ray.
I know what you mean. But, it's a real shame.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing that I regretted the most was buying an early Android tablet, and it had the very crude sort of like resistive sort of touch screen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd press it or lightly just press it by accident and it'd register. And other times you'd be pressing down on the thing and nearly breaking the screen and it wouldn't register that you were even touching it.
Yeah.
And I paid about £100 for it, and it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, so Michael Edwards, do you think PSVR is here to stay or a flash in the pan? Well, that's not for me to answer, is it? What do you think?
Well, you would say it's a flash in the pan. I think VR will remain in a form in the future, but I don't think it's the thing that's going to take over from your monitors. It's just not. I still prefer gaming on a normal screen. Yeah. It is a nice experience to play in virtual reality. It does give extra dimensions to some games, not all. I think that there are definite genres it fits better, but I do not think we're going to be in a Ready Player One sort of world in any time in the near future, is my honest answer. And that's having owning two different pieces of VR equipment. And you've got one. You've got the Samsung
that's right.
one.
It's all right. That's not bad, actually.
Does that still fit with your new phone?
I've not tried it yet, to be honest. I've not thought about it. Apparently it's supposed to, so I'll have to give it a little bit of a whirl and see.
Yeah.
Because I'll get an even better screen now from this upgrade as well. I have to try a 3D movie or something.
Okay. Next question is John Stangroom. What's your favourite Doctor Who assistant character, guys? Always love K9 myself.
Just quickly, I'm going to say Sarah Jane Smith.
I liked her. It's a shame that she died. Because what was on the second series of the Sarah Jane Smith stories, and then she died of cancer, didn't she?
Yeah.
Such a shame.
And I saw her from her beginnings. I think Yoda's calling me now. When she joined John Pertwee. Yeah. After who came before her? Jo Grant.
Yeah.
Just one that always sticks in my memory, she does.
Yeah.
And it was great to see her back with David Tennant at that point as well. That
was such a good episode. Quite a powerful one for us fans of Doctor Who from years gone by.
Yeah.
I think for me, the ones that I liked were the ones that, Peter Davidson had as assistants, because he had
Tegan.
Tegan, and
she was quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Quite liked her. I quite liked the ginger-haired guy who was with him as well, because he was like a bit evil, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And always going against the Doctor. And of course, Turlo as a character.
God, yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to do Dave's?
So Dave Rivet, I was queuing this morning, Saturday, so this is probably a couple of weeks ago now, at 6 a.m. for Record Store Day. And there was there anything you guys wanted from the limited releases, and did you try to get them?
Well, so this is over to you because it's not, I didn't get any record.
No. I did actually. I actually went down at 8 o'clock in the morning. The shop was just about to open, and there was about a queue of about 30 people in front of me.
Yeah.
But I did pick up about. I picked up the picture disc soundtrack to Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Sucker Punch. Now I did get Commander, but that wasn't an actual record day release. That was just a standard one. I did get the Sparks album, which is all their early stuff. And what else did I get? Let me think. I can remember. What else have I picked up? There was. Let me think. There was the Madonna Japanese import picture disc, which was repressed, and a 12-inch single from Soft Cell.
Nice.
Which was what I did want and I didn't get was the Human League album. Just couldn't get hold of that one. That was sold out. But I'll keep an eye out again. You never know, might find one float around. But the thing is, some people have been buying them and then throwing them on eBay for extortionate prices.
Yeah.
Which is not how it should work.
No, it shouldn't be, but that's capitalist market, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah. But hey-ho.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Oliver Brooks, if you were to have an animal as your personal bodyguard in the same room as you 24/7, what would you pick?
As a bodyguard?
As your bodyguard.
I'd pick a grizzly bear.
Okay. Why?
Just sprang to mind as being big and very large and would bite your ass off once noticed.
Yeah. I would go for a dog still. Okay. I love dogs, so why not?
Okay. Craig Cole. what is your favourite introduction to a Doctor Who? What is your favourite introduction to a Doctor Who companion? I thought the Pond intro as the young girl story was awesome. That was very clever, I must admit.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the first that's done that sort of introduction. The others have just sort of come along.
Yeah, they have. No, there was, who is it? I've forgotten what her name is. You carry on. I'll tell you in a second.
No, I just totally agree with the Pond one. I love the idea of the little girl with a suitcase, and he comes back not realising that he's jumped ahead, where the TARDIS has brought him like another 18, 19 years into the future, and she's sort of a policewoman, shall we say, or not.
By the way, it wasn't Turtle, it was Adric I was thinking of.
Okay.
On what you call it. The Donna Noble story, because she started off on a Christmas special and then she came back the season after. With Catherine Tate, I thought her introduction was quite good. Yeah.
I did like Kylie Minogue, actually.
Yeah, but she was only on for the one, wasn't she?
I know, but I still love Kylie Minogue, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say that out there, put it there.
Okay, moving swiftly on then. Justin Lee, I know we've big gaming piles of shame on our consoles, but I realised that even excluding Golden Plus games, I have about 21 PS4 Xbox games that I've paid money for that I've literally never even started, such as Arkham Knight. That's a good game. Walking Dead 3, if that's a Telltale one, that's alright, good story. And Resident Evil 7. How many games have you paid money for that you have never started or loaded?
I can't think of that many, but I'm sure, Haydn, you've got stacks, haven't you?
On the PS4, probably none. On the Xbox One, there's one that I haven't played yet that I own. And on the PC, probably about 800. But bearing in mind that, a lot of those are like small indie games from Humble Bundle or whatever that are just registered to the account, but they're not, they're not the reason why I bought it because I bought it for something else that came out. So, yeah, quite a few, really. But, I mean, in terms of a pile of shame, you don't just have them by how many, you've not loaded, do you? It's also how many if you're not completed, in which case that number goes up exponentially. But hang on a minute, you said you haven't put on Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain.
No, that's right.
So you do have one. You do have a couple in there.
True.
Yeah. You do, Mark?
Okay, yeah, because I've got to go in a sec.
Yeah, we're only two more questions after this one.
So, Mark Tudor, what's your favourite Telltale game story? I think mine's the Walking Dead stories.
Yeah, I would say the same as well. I like the whole Clementine sort of story arc. I think they've done a good job with that. But I like the Batman ones as well.
That's what I haven't done yet.
You want to do the Frontier one. It's a really good story.
I'm hoping to catch that maybe later in a deal or two.
Well, it's been out for £10.
Is it? Okay.
It's on sale regularly for that amount. Okay, so Neil Davey has said, who is your favourite companion in any game? Mine is Grunt from Mass Effect 2 and 3.
I did like my dog in Fable.
Yeah.
I think that comes to spring. I mean, there's probably, if I walk away in a minute, I'll come to think of others, but...
I can't really think of any companions in games, to be honest, other than Skyrim.
Oh, Lydia, bless her. Oh, I loved her to bits.
Yeah. So I'll say Lydia from Skyrim.
Right.
Final one.
I think we're done. Is there one more?
Yeah, Joel Ferrand, who's from Twitter.
Referring back to your previous episode where you felt you'd been born 50 years too early, and what do you envision the world looking for in the future? More Star Trek or Blade Runner, or possibly Ready Player One? Follow up, which popular culture universe would you prefer to live in? I
think that will probably be somewhere in the middle of Star Trek and Blade Runner, to be honest. I think it'll be more corporate, like, the Tyrell organisation, whatever.
Yeah, where the Federation are pretty much clued on, aren't they?
Well, the Federation are like the government, aren't they? really. Like United Earth government sort of thing with other planets. Whereas I think that will be still very capitalistic sort of society. There'll be much more heavier branding, less of them, but more stronger branding for the ones that are there as companies buy out other ones.
Yeah.
But I hope that there's a bit more of the optimism from the Star Trek-y kind of universe.
That's why I would go for that, to be honest, from that point of view.
And I would rather live in a Star Trek universe any day than Blade Runner.
Well, no, it's a bit more managed, if you know what I mean.
It's a more optimistic future, isn't it? And the ability to be able to go out to other planets and see all of wonders of the universe and whatever. I think it would be an amazing experience to be able to do that, and certainly not the type of thing I would say no to if it was handed on a plate.
I'd love to go into space.
Yeah, so would I.
Not going to happen in my lifetime, but there you go.
Well, you never know. If like NASA or SpaceX or someone are looking for two more less physically able kind of guys to go up into space.
Quick question before we go.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to be frozen, would you have it done?
Well, it depends. I would say no, because obviously the impact on my family, but if I didn't have my family, yes.
It'd be nice to wake up in the future.
Well, you might never wake up though, that's the thing.
Yeah, or some aliens got a space hugger over your face or something.
You might be in a H.G. Wells sort of like future, the end of the world sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's it for this week. So it's just a normal outro sort of bit. So our contact details, Steve, do you want to say what yours are?
So Twitter @Steve007, PSN ID, The Real Steve007, Xbox Steve007, email, I've got it written down there, have we?
You got your old email.
Yeah, you put that in. So I don't mind using Steve07 at hotmail.co.uk.
Or popculturegamers.co.uk.
Exactly.
My contact details are, if you want to see my YouTube videos, just search for Haydn Rhys Jones. Otherwise, Twitter, HRJUK, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, whatever, HRJUK. And email is hrj@popculturegamers.co.uk. We have a Facebook group which you can join as well, called Pop Culture Gamers, no less. If you've got an inquiry for the show, you can email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. Also, we have our website, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com. And that's it for another week. So we're going to do a special next week because of, just not being able to get together because of the bank holiday weekend or whatever. So we're going to do your choice of 3 different podcasts. Either, number 1, our rundown of the Doctor Who's. Number 2 is our views on Star Trek Discovery. Or number 3 is our views on the Star Wars movies. So you'll be able to vote for those, and we'll put a vote on Twitter. We'll also put a vote on the Facebook group, and whichever one wins, we'll do a 1-hour special.
So this will be running for a couple of days, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be running for a couple of days. So that's it from now. So it's good night from me.
And good night from him.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.